Welcome to the 310th week of Mario Maker, if you include Mario Maker 1 and 2, or the second week of 5 years of Mario Maker, the anniversary project that kind of adds up if you decide to round down instead. Week 1 last week was, of course, fantastic, and we should expect some wonders from the 8 levels that are in this week's batch, beginning with Green Star Seas into the wormhole. So as usual, we will be looking for every cake. We will hopefully have the presence of mind to remember to look at the comment art afterwards so we can see what Mang and other comment artists have been getting up to. And we'll also maybe ask Mr. Sparky later if he comes in how he managed to hold that world record, because I think he must have gotten that in fairly early. So, let's see how it goes. Let's play. And welcome to everybody who has come in already. Mang, who is with me to celebrate 310 WMM. And of course, Glitch, who has made a boss with a Super Ball, which I certainly look forward to. I don't know if I'll be able to run viewer levels this week because I might have a scheduling conflict, but announcements like that will be posted on the Discord. So, might have a week off relative to what we usually do, but hopefully not. I can see that maybe if this is auto-scroll all the way from a Green Star, that's why Electrodude, if he got in the clear very early, might have been able to hold the world record after all this time. I am thinking about going for the 50 coin. I think in order to do that, I do have to catch the Wiggler on the right side. And so, Glitch, I take it you've played this one already then. I'm going into this week's set mostly unspoiled. Oh, we're missing coins already. We'll eventually do that, I think. Ah, there's the wormhole. But yeah, I didn't do early playtesting for some of these like I previously did for week 1, and so where did I go? I dropped off of there a second time, and so that is one time too much. Looks like that's not going to work. Let's not miss the pink coin this time. That is a difficult 50 coin to catch. I would really like to figure that out. I think I need to get on the Wiggler significantly earlier. Like right here at the top. There we go. There we go. Now we have some closure. Oh, okay, you have seen them all on other streams at this point then. Yeah, it seems like a lot of streamers have been running these already, of course, including a lot of the people that I know you also regularly submit to. Let's do that jump a bit more carefully. I can probably afford to delay just slightly. I'm going to go for that every time if I can. Purely for the satisfaction. There we go. Into the wormhole. Now that's really neat. Into the wormhole, and let's hug left. No, we come out there. Okay. For some reason, I was expecting to come out to the top right, but that was not the case. Where that pink coin is located. I think something else will have to drop me in there, but we'll figure that out with time. Whoops. Too busy watching the coins on the top right, not watching my footing, but I see that there are 7 in total, probably just 6 collectible plus a safety coin, if they are split across checkpoints. But we'll see. Okay, down we go. I do like how it automatically does spit you down to that diagonal. Let's be careful around that curve. Yeah, it looks like we will eventually head up to that coin and slip into it before we go into the next portal. I like how responsive the portals are. They act really quickly. Okay, here we are. Now, we have seen Green Star with some levels that use that quasi-teleportation before. We had actually just shown off a dark level by Green Star during the previous show on the weekend. And it's kind of nice to see it used in a more platforming-heavy concept. Because certainly that's not always the case. I like how well synchronized that is as well. I feel like this is a secret. And yeah, that is indeed a coin. Love how that one is signaled. Yeah, it just probably dumps you with a conveyor immediately to the left, springs you back up. They each work a little bit differently, depending on the positioning, of course. And the box there shows you that you are expected to have 3 coins at this point. That's a nice subtle signal that you normally don't see with some of these coin collection challenges. That was late. Alright, up we go. Well, once that wraps around. Okay, yeah, let's hit that. We do need to hit the Piranha Plant in advance, otherwise we just don't have the opportunity to go on that platform. So let's make sure we do that. There we go. Oh, claw, okay, yeah. That was kind of important. Didn't read that quickly enough. But we'll just bounce back and get that done. I probably shouldn't follow that coin trail right away. Let's just get onto the right side platform and hit the plant as soon as we can. Okay, going to tap that. Run over here. Still getting a little bit stuffed there, so we can fix that. Okay. Up we go. And then, okay, good. We do have a brief opportunity to bounce on that, but as you can see, we are going to lose the opportunity to get the next pink coin if we're not fast enough, so there is an incentive to be quick. And that's the incentive to be quick. A little quicker than that, just a little too much bouncing before we got to that turnaround. So let's not do that with a coin trail. We should know that from experience by now. And yeah, the arrow signs that are attached to the ground by tracks. I'm trying to help out as much as possible, but you know how I am with reading instructions. So because the Wiggler is actually going to go back to the right, I think there's less urgency to getting that pink coin in the top left on our way in. We actually have the opportunity to grab it on the way out when the Wiggler reverses, so we can prioritize hitting the switches in the top left corner, which is part of the required path. We'll see if my reading of that is correct this time. Whoops, let's actually get a high bounce. And of course, we haven't seen the return of the wormhole concept just yet in this part. And here we are. But we'll see. I mean, right now it's more like the Wiggler itself that's just worming around for us, teleporting everywhere, but yeah, there's the wormhole. And good, nice and readable there. And yeah, just barely missed there. I was too busy reading the position of the next coin, which is just barely visible on the left side now that we've reached that location. Okay, up we go. Nope, we made that mistake again. We do need to hit the switches first. Yeah, sometimes just playing a bit on autopilot here. We do need to rethink some of that. The sooner we get over here, the sooner we can bounce up, pop our way up. Like the timing on that works out really smoothly, in fact. Okay, this is going to sail over. We're grab that. Safety coin should be next, I think, since we're post-checkpoint. 3 coins, once again, it says in this section. Very courteous of this level to point that out. And we're going into the wormhole. And where does that drop me? Drops me somewhere, surely. There we go. We did need to move a little bit. Yeah, it's just a long cycle that takes you all the way around, that's all. And of course, we're going to check whatever is up here. That's interesting. Let's grab the checkpoint first with 6 coins in tow. I do wonder about this. Probably when this pipe spits you out on the way in, this ensures that you're going to fall into the pit. That's the whole purpose of these blocks, to prevent you from trying to cheese it by going over. Although you can cheese it by going over if you want, I think, judging by the layout here. Anyway, let's hit this. On the assumption that we haven't already had to do anything with the key door. Now I see why Electrodude, or Mr. Sparky, has the record on this. Not only is it auto-scroll for the most part, but here is a bit of a bullet hell, bullet dodging segment, and we know who's a specialist in that kind of thing. Hammy Billy, welcome. Okay, nice little state switch here as we respawn into this room with the on state at checkpoint, and that's how that whole thing fills in. Hopefully that doesn't compromise our ability to finish the key route, but I assume that is just going to be a safety coin at the very end. So, and we'll even have some custom music here. Very ambitious production all around. Also, it looks kind of like a face, doesn't it? Like this boss room here. So we want to drop the donut blocks, but do we want to drop the donut blocks into the lower location? I think we do. I think there's something that requires me to have the donut block land me in the pit. The idea should be that I get on a donut block and ride it down for some reason. If it's going to be consistent with the wormhole concept. No, okay, no, you just dropped them all then, I think. And then what would be the point of that? Let me think about this carefully. The sound seems to be slightly pitch shifted. Thank you for notifying me of that. Yeah, we had some issues at the very start, which is why we had a late start to the stream. Late enough, in fact, for Greenstar, the creator, to come in and watch the rest of the playthrough. So just give me one moment. We'll try to fix the sound. And hopefully this time it doesn't kill my whole stream. We hope. And when we are restored, then we'll get back into the boss. Greenstar, the level is going very, very well. And if you came in late, you can hopefully catch some of the early commentary that we did so far. I'm glad we got the audio fixed up for the music segment here, too. So we can hear this custom loop, and also read what's going on with this concept. So we know we should drop the donut blocks, but probably not sit on them, because that just falls into the abyss. But if you drop them all, what does that do? I guess if you have some things that are loaded down below, and which need an additional tile to traverse, then dropping the donut block within that location would, for example, allow some kind of object to cross a gap. Maybe. Like, I don't know if the timing would quite work for that, but we'll see how it goes, because I don't actually know what the idea behind the donut block trigger would be, but we'll try to reverse engineer that. If we can't figure it out, then I'm sure Greenstar might be able to reveal some of the trickery, but we'll see. But yeah, the level's great. The optional coins so far have all been pretty satisfying to grab along the way. And in the wormhole segments, it's been nice that every time the wormhole kicks you out, that I feel like the positioning is actually very reliable. I never think I'm in danger when I come out of a wormhole, even if I am doing something with my controls to point in one direction or another, or trying to react to what's on screen. So I think that's worked out really well. We know that's a bad idea, but we'll do it anyway. Now let's do the left side. Probably in much the same fashion. Oops, not a way playing like that. The whole donut magic happens in the top. Okay, interesting. Hammy Billy, we're not running the queue today. I usually run viewer levels on the weekend streams. This week I might be off because of a conflict, but we do have a typical set of 2 viewer level days when I'd be happy to play your submission. Today, however, we're just running the 5 years of Mario Maker anniversary project. And so it's just a preordained set list of 8 levels. Okay, there we go. Into the wormhole. And here we are. Yeah, the donut sector is really interesting. 5YMM, and we do, of course, have the safety coin awaiting us here. Now it's time for key death. I didn't think you would actually do it to me. Yeah, I guess it's a joke pipe to begin with. You're not supposed to hit that. Anyway, here's the wormhole cake. Really nice cake concept. It even kind of disguises very well the fact that a room in this layout has to be kind of asymmetrical. Because you can see that the left side is slightly longer than the right side with the 3 candles there and the 2 candles on the right side. But then that's fine because we know that building for symmetry is a nuisance in this game. So, and we needed 5 candles anyway. This works out great. Demonstrates the wormhole concept. A cake that fits the mechanic. Always nice to see. What do we go back in? Okay, you just get kicked out. What do we go back in and try to get under the spring? I feel like this is not smart. I mean, we know it's probably conveyors or something down there. But, okay, that's fine. I've had my fill. So yeah, to answer that earlier question belatedly, this is our typical viewer level schedule. Like I said, it might not be on this week. And these are the 5YMM level codes that you're going to see all stream today. Thank you very much, Greenstar, for Into the Wormhole. Yeah, very unique level. I've seen a couple of different teleportation tech levels before that move you around really quickly. We actually saw one, as I said, from Greenstar just a few days ago. But I haven't seen one in this kind of auto-scroller format before, where you can just react to everything really quickly and still wind up in all the right places relative to the track timing. So I think this worked out very well. Let's check the comment art. And look at this. Use a bell. Look at that. Oh, it's Daisy riding the Wiggler cart, although it's just the Wiggler. It's not a cart. And yeah, you've got racing flags all the way over, which are, of course, swirled into a checkerboard wormhole. That is a fantastic piece of art. Wow. This is incredible. Like, even apart from the artwork being exported to the Switch, which I think Uspel actually does it pixel by pixel. The artwork by itself is just a real treat. And here's Gilmore having a chunk out of his butt. Being ripped apart by the worm, or ripped apart like the fabric of space-time. And Lecter, yeah, don't worry. You can catch up my VOD later. I am, of course, just about to pull up a bullet. And that was a very juicy butt, as you can see. It looks like this level is the butt of several jokes, in fact. Oh, here's Mang doing the sort of Ouroboros dog creature. Sticking out on both sides. Murkowski makes a very astute observation. Notice that he's thinking with portals in the appropriate colors. YMM. And oh yeah, this guy is rendering the teleportation mechanic. This comment has been deleted. And Pink Top's also making use of the wraparound. And let's see if there's anything else all that interesting. But of course, the high effort comments are among the ones that are a bit more recent. And as you can see, you know, the comment art dueling isn't really going to top this one. Yeah, the Cartoon Network cat dog. Yeah, you know what I mean. The name escaped me, which you would think that was something as simple as a cat dog and self-explanatory. We would just understand, but that's okay. That's the way we play. Anyway, out of the wormhole, let's take a look at level 2 of this week's set. It is going to be Bullet, starring Steve McQueen. Boom, headshot. Bullet the bullies to make your way up the canyon. I have to say, Lecter, just from the title alone, I wonder if there is a car chase. But yeah, see you around. Hopefully you'll be able to catch up on this afterwards and enjoy the show. Anyway, let's stomp on some bullets. Or bullies. Or something that sounds like that. And yeah, Green Star, as far as your level goes, as you said, making it fast and platforming suitable is, I think, the major innovation of the level, and I think the efforts you put into that certainly paid off. Reset doors down here in case you lose the hat, probably. Interesting that we have... Well, I mean, we have the pipe in case you lose the hat, but in case the bullies are totally out of position. So yeah, this kind of mechanic was seen in some levels before, but maybe not used this reliably. Okay. And then we can bounce... we need some gas. Now, bouncing on the bullies doesn't give you gas, I think. You do need to get a proper enemy bounce on the creeper, as I understand it. And we lost a bullet again. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, no.
Okay, down here. And give the bully a push. Nope, we slammed the wall. That's what's been happening there. We could have made it back to the reset door, of course. But it should not take long to get back up to that position, so we'll just do it. And 5 pink coins in this level. Nope. Have to aim that bullet a little bit more accurately, I think. Okay, here we go. No we don't. That's okay, that just takes a better aim. And we'll get there eventually. So yeah, previously we've featured a lot of Lecter's courses on this stream. I remember a couple that use bully bouncing as one of the central techniques. Usually not with the bullet head, though. We had some other ones like using the pounce with the cat suit on the bullies, and some interactions that were kind of like that. But as you can see, the sort of right angle boost here is something that is very reliable and something that's taught to you right from the start of the level. Let's get back to the bullet. It's Ninja, welcome. Up we go. Okay. Nope, still going too high every single time there. Of course, if we do get the coin and manage to get through the reset door, that's fine. We would just keep the coin and skip the creeper from there, but let's try to do it accurately. This is only one coin out of 5 here. So we've still got a lot of work to do. Yeah, no, let's just take the reset door or not. An additional bounce on a bully probably would have been useful. Okay, up we go. In fact, going directly like this helps quite a bit. Ah, there we go. Nice landing. Surprisingly nice landing. And then that just allows you to aim. There we go. Worked out quite well. Okay, only 1 coin so far. I do wonder if I've missed anything yet, but yeah, we'll push until we're given some room. We'll refresh on every platform that is given to us. And that includes this one. Naturally, we'll try to go up here and see what's going on. Yeah, it looks like that was just another reset door on the right side, and that we can just continue from the start. There are 3 reset doors in this segment, in case things are just totally out of alignment. Haven't seen coin 2 yet, which you would think would appear soon enough. Ah, coin 2 is down there, okay. There we go. That worked out smoothly for an improvised moment. Nope, we wanted the bully to be on the right side of the conveyor in order to get that part down. That's a sort of interesting back and forth rhythm with the bully plus creeper interaction. I don't think I've really seen much done with that in the past. There we go. I like how that does give you a bit of an opportunity for recovery. And yeah, the bullies issue a retraction, and that's not going to help me when I am dead. Okay, here we are. And yeah, coin 2, let's do it correctly after getting the reset door. Did it in a bit of a cheesy way that time, but it was very satisfying to do it properly in the previous attempts. So I've proven that I can do it, and that's enough vindication, I think. No. We should have let up on the gas there and do a wall jump. It would send you down slightly before you hit the wall if you let up, but we did have room to do that, I think, and make that kind of correction on the fly. Yeah, I could tell I was losing a little bit of height there relative to when I take the platforms. There we go. It's been working out well. Wait for the bully to kind of come down in the middle here. Nope. Probably just need to let up on the gas once again and just bounce on the bully normally, I think, if we get tucked into a position like that. Yeah, it's consistently too far right from me now, not too far left. And so we just need to adjust. Yeah, the little bully is an easier target to hit than it seems. Okay, part of the issue here is that I am having a bit of difficulty predicting when I am, in fact, going to be pushed through that bully. And so that's why I'm reacting too late when I do, in fact, finally get projected forward and make my way past it. Yeah, very satisfying mechanic, though, that's for sure. Nope, that was the right idea, just boosting a little bit to correct our position. Somebody going for speed, of course, would be able to play that a little more carefully. But... or just a little bit more smoothly, not carefully. In terms of finding the right kind of cycle for each of those successive enemies to jump on. Okay. Yeah, I should, in general, not be holding jump so much in this segment unless I know what I'm bouncing on. That's okay, we should just take this. I think that gets me through. Luckily it does. Doesn't block me off from too much, I think. So here, we need to be aware of the creeper up top, and then not lose the bullet as we make our way up there. Eventually, we'll want to break the hard blocks up top, I think. But let's wait for the creeper to do a bit of work for us here. It's going to come down. Let's wait for it to release. So we can catch this on the way up. No, we probably want to jump from this location. That's what this elevator platform might be for. Just in terms of assessing height here. Okay, no. Maybe we should go from ground level. There we are, much better. And yeah, let's not bust that. And then we'll have to think about how to get to that one on the other side. Okay, let's drop down first. And then drop down here. Oh, was going to wall jump up and instead we did that. That's okay, we'll be able to make it up, I'm sure. And then we should bounce up that bully anyway, actually, to make our way all the way to the top. If we don't hit that wall directly. Okay, that works. Not very elegant on my part, but it functions. And so we get to checkpoint 2 with 3 coins in the bag. And now we have a mix of regular bouncing bullies with the bullets. Alright. Yeah, the creeper interaction here is quite nice. A lot of collisions in 3D World don't really work like collisions, and so it's always nice to find one that does. And no, we know that the bullet loses gas and doesn't get refreshed on the bully, so we do need to play this a little bit cleaner. Nope. Thought 2 bounces were okay there. They were clearly not, and then it's going to be a whole lot of death here as we have some timed interactions coming up with bullies dropping in from above. Okay, that went a lot better. That did not. And yeah, okay, I see. That dies to the creepers. That makes everything time sensitive as you scroll things in, which is good because you only really do have one opportunity to catch everything parachuting down anyway. So as you scroll in here and get all those spawn timings. Okay, it came in a little bit high. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to hit. Okay. There we go, much better. And then, oh, that's going to be way too low. So yeah, nice snappy turnarounds as we reverse direction. That's what we need. Okay. Up we go. Way too low. Yeah, all of this is going to require a pretty specific pattern. Much more specific about the timing than any of the earlier segments that let you retry quite freely. But yeah, nice quick turnarounds, and that's going to do the trick. Alright. Yeah, I guess you are supposed to just push the bully repeatedly to get it past the block left or right. I'm a little concerned that we still haven't seen coin 4 at this point. I do wonder. We've got an on-off switch down below. Oh, I guess that's just to set the initial condition, right? To have all the things in this room behaving accordingly and starting off in the off state. Yeah, I was wondering if there was anything. Because I do have the sense, pacing-wise, that we could have missed something by now. Whoops. No, that's a miss. And a miss is going to be a big miss here. One thing I didn't talk or think about either was the top left corner in this room. Alright, bully goes up. And yeah, look at that little guy just waddling up top, waiting for his opportunity to strike. Now is his moment as the watchman or watch bully who's been on duty all this time. His one job to guard the exclamation block. Or not the exclamation block, the warp block, rather. We know what things are called around here. Most of the time. No, miss. Let's remember to grab the bullet. That's kind of important in this level. Okay. And through we go. Yeah, dropping slightly into that guy actually does work, as long as we get quick turnarounds here too. Make sure we get the appropriate height. Now, keeping the bullet hat going to this segment is important because that gives you coin 4 if you hang left. And you do need the bullet at that point. Yeah, I guess if you lose the bullet hat, then you lose access to coin 4, but it looks like you should still be able to survive if you just go right directly and miss out on the whole optional interaction, so. Okay. That's not quite what I expected. Oh yeah, because I dunked him. Yeah, we do need that bully to rise a little bit first before we hit, I think. Either that or we need to stall quite a bit longer when we spawn in and just let him go up until the bully is high enough to give us the boost that we need. Nope, out of gas here. Okay, no, we do need to drop off. We'll drop off. We don't want to stomp on a bully because of the wings. Bullies with wings match your position. That's one thing that is a bit of an obscure mechanic for people who don't play 3D World very much, but it is actually a very important one. And we know it from experience with a bully level that I made in the earliest weeks of game. Electrodude, welcome, and congratulations on holding the record on Green Star's wormhole level. And Electrodude, as soon as I saw that it was a bullet-dodging boss at the end of Green Star's level, I understood why you were holding that record, of course. Seems to be a bit of a specialization of yours. I don't know if you did that on stream, or if that was something you went back to afterwards. But if you did get a record on stream, I should actually watch your video afterwards. And yeah, Electrodude, you do still have that. Maybe people just haven't been competing for it. Nope. Okay, Bully's going to go up, but then we have a very limited opportunity to catch it. I will, of course, want to grab the coin before finishing, so we'll probably take the death here. I just want to scout ahead while we have the chance. So I will take a death before we finish. Warp block going to all that stuff over there. You did do that on stream, okay. Well, congratulations. Nice to see some of that documented, whether it holds or not. It's held through about 2,000 plays, so maybe people see an auto-scroller and they think that they're not going to bother competing for it, but who knows. So yeah, we'll take the depth after this if I'm able to. If that's the end segment, though. Well, I mean, we can scout ahead, but I don't know if we'll actually be able to die. Let's try it. Let's try it. If we need to redo the level, no big deal. And of course, alright. This might be the flag segment, so let's... Yeah, it is the flag segment, so let's not do anything yet. And that red pipe is probably the exit from the cake room, so... You can cheese by wall jumping off to right and getting the coin that way. Well, we'll see about that. Natcat, there will be tacos. We need to see a few more of these levels first, though. I'm sure there will be plenty of tacos to go around. And yeah, Electrodude, I did see that about the coin after you mentioned it, I think. Thinking back to that room. Usually I try that kind of thing. That is a good point. Yeah, usually I would notice that, but I guess I was sort of mentally in a mode of trying to scout ahead first. Nope. Poor bully, but at least we spared the bully the crushing at the behest of the piranha. That's just creeping over to it ever so slowly. Okay, let's try this again. And down we go. Okay, all this, well, I knew that was going to happen, just given my height. I guess we were resigned to our fate. Okay. Here we go. And yet, Natcat, I'm certainly not going to be one to judge about people just having letters, single letters at the end of their handle. Alright, let's try this again. Nope, still a little bit too high. If I see that I'm going in a bit too high, I really do need to drop slightly. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Natcat, I don't know if there's a particularly good story behind the X. Like Mega Man X. Purple Frenzy, today is not a viewer level day. We do run viewer levels usually twice a week, although I don't know if I'll make it this week. Today we are running levels from 5 Years of Mario Maker, which you can find on a website I just linked in chat. I do play viewer levels on a fairly regular basis, though, so if you want to come back on another stream, we can look at that. I didn't accidentally mark my stream as viewer levels this time, did I? Because that's actually a mistake I made last week, and it was deeply misleading. And here we go. Yeah, well, Netcat, if anybody asks, you can just make up some kind of backstory involving Mega Man X if they really suspect that there's some kind of legend behind a name. You went by a different handle before, and your name was Pinto Bean. Interesting. Yeah, I have too many handles on the internet, and the problem is that a lot of these separate identities are starting to merge. Just because of certain things having a bit of crossover with each other, so certain places that are originally meant to be kept apart, just beginning to collide, and so it's one big mess, one big confusion, but that's okay. Hopefully everything is steadily going to collapse around this username for now, since right now, this Twitch channel is probably the most public thing I do on the internet. So, we don't want to do that. Yeah, no. If you wall jump off of that, that doesn't give you enough height. But if you take damage with the bully as you come in, with the bullet rather, as you come in, which I think was what Electrodude was suggesting, you would have a shot at it. So, anyway, we'll try to do it the normal way. I think it's actually still simplest. Yeah, a little bit behind pace here, but we'll manage to get back here. Okay. There we go. All done. And even with the 10 coin. Okay, great. Alright, then we will see whatever bonus lies in store. I guess the bullet got peeled, and there's the 5YMM text. And up we go. Aegis Cook, welcome. Yeah, Aegis Cook, I've started seeing your Spiny level actually just sort of submitted by random people to other people's viewer level streams, I think. I mean, it's very recognizable, so I always notice your level right away when I see it in Twitch thumbnails and somebody's playing it. Anyway, it's a bully cake, and yeah, 5 bullies for 5 years. And we'll blow out the candles this way by doing this. Whoops, and maybe losing too much of that, but okay, that's fine. Up we go. Yeah, Meng knows the backstory, actually, that Natural is the spoof name that was being used for a while by Loopin' Snoop when he was making parody accounts of other people in Mario Maker. Come on, jump. No, we want to jump with the skip squeaks and go immediately like that. There we are. And yeah, Electrodude, it was originally neutral. Actually, just kind of a pun on the Dungeons & Dragons alignment grid. But yeah, no, I shaved that off probably because I think the name was already taken in certain places by other dormant accounts. Anyway, thank you to Lecter, who did drop by briefly earlier in the stream, but had to go, so he couldn't stay to watch this play. But we managed to get that. We got the cake. Everything's fine. That's it for Bullet. Thank you for the GGs. But yeah, Netcat N also works out just fine because it is in fact my first initial, as some people here do already know. But anyway, next is going to be Miss Yarrow's level, and that's going to be Cloud Killer. Let's bring that up, if I can find it. Oh no, we want to see the comment art first. Let's do the comment art. Sound is dead. Okay, yeah, let's get that going again. Luckily, we're between levels. Thanks for letting me know, Electrodude. I hope that we actually managed to make it through to level first. Yeah, we had some issues at the very start of the stream. I started late today because my video capture actually completely died right when I was about to start. And so we needed to just reset everything. And so now we might still have a little bit of glitchiness. But sound should be back. Thanks for letting me know about that promptly, because I don't always notice what I'm looking at over here. I don't understand who this person is responding to. I don't know if I want to know. Hey, look at Meng. Meng's got a bully that is also a bullet, and I feel like Nintendo has to include this at some point. Perhaps even a version that has cat ears on it to really complete the look. But yeah. A beautiful piece by Meng, as always. Let's see what else is going on here. Dark X2 just signing his name everywhere. And okay, this guy's drawing a bully. He's trying at least. Oh, it's Street Rat. Okay, yeah. I bet he did this on stream then. Yeah, I usually watch Street Rat quite a bit, but I haven't caught up on his 5YMM runs just yet. Hey, we can try to see what this says via machine translation. I don't know if it's going to be anything interesting, but we can see what Google makes of it. Just give me one moment here. Something about the sky being empty, or there is no sky, or something. I think it's probably just some poem that has no particular relevance to the level. Natcat found a cake, and it tasted great. Okay, I guess we're not getting as much artwork on this one, unfortunately. We had some fantastic artwork on the wormhole level just before this one. Oh, this guy's trying to poke under. And this guy's also trying a Sturo. That bully looks like it's kind of sweating, or that maybe it's just been hit in the head by a bullet. And the bullet has left some marks. We can follow those marks in a forensics lab. Yeah, this guy has been counting months. And Megatoro also got a cake. Not surprising that Kaito would be on the ball with a lot of these first clears. Anyway, let's go to the next one, which is going to be Cloud Killer. Yeah, there were some day one patches for a few of the levels this time, a little more than usual, but that's why we play them a day after release, once some of that has been sorted out. So, we'll be looking at Cloud Killer by Miss Yarrow, where a deranged individual must destroy all clouds. Play as least favorite sprite. They're all my least favorite, as you know. We don't play least favorites around here. But let's wreck some clouds. 43% clear rate. Looks like it's going to be a relatively gentle, but I'm sure mechanically interesting adventure, given everything was seen from Miss Yarrow in the past. Okay, let's kill some clouds. And yeah, this is just a bit of a tutorial screen for people who are new to this and haven't touched the game since SMB2 came out, or are playing levels of this clear rate. And yeah, removing the cloud does that. I guess this would be similar to what was going on with the donut magic in... well, not this specifically, but I'm thinking about the cloud here, removing one flying cloud from the entity limit, because objects on wings do count towards the limit. And now I'm thinking back to the donut blocks and tracks that we had in the wormhole level earlier, because now I think I know how it works. that you get them off of the tracks, and it does solve some issues with the budget. Anyway, let's do the SMB2 high jump for once. Or can we? No, we'll just jump on donuts the standard way. And sorry, it says, I guess we have to kill the cloud. Fuck the cloud. And yeah, Muncher comes out with the entity block removed. And that gets you through to the next room. Do it. Well, I guess we have to kill it. By dropping the spike ball. What happens if you miss? I didn't intend to miss, but I think... Oh, the reset door, as you can see, so... Reset it is. Well, Meng, as you'll see, we're not exactly the murderer here. On this screen, I'm just the accessory to the crime. I don't think I'm actually culpable. It's definitely not in the first degree. At worst, it would be cloud slaughter. Okay. Let's take this. I guess we'll be poking some clouds from underneath as well. And we can go further down, but yeah, as we can see, there is some kind of pink coin collection going on. Super Ball, okay. Yeah, sure, we'll take it. We should have checked the lower location. We're coming up here. But I wonder if you do need to just do everything non-linearly anyway. So here, I would have needed to destroy this. Well, I can destroy this with the hat, I think. Or can I? Or do I? I think I do need SMB2 for that. Okay, I wasn't clear on that. No, because they're clouds. Of course you can jump through them. That's nonsensical. So I should go back down and check that lower location eventually. We do get to explore quite a bit of this without actually interacting with much. Okay, coin over there. Obviously we should bust down some of this stuff while I still can, using the spiny hat. Might as well. And yeah, so we'll open up some of these passages. Eventually we'll have an opportunity to nuke that cloud as well if we stay in the SMB2 form longer than we have done. So let's go all the way back down. And yeah, downstairs we go after grabbing SMB2 perhaps. A lot of locations here that are indicative of some kind of scroll break, so we dodge power-ups, I think. That's easy enough. Over here, yeah, we can just take that guy out. So yeah, checkpoint really kind of starts you in the middle of this giant vertical segment, and so... where's the cloud? Yeah, there's the cloud. But we need to bust this first with the spiny hat. And then wait for the cloud to come over here. Pop that, and that gives me access to the coin. Nice way to set that up. Okay, let's go down. And then, after going down, we will then continue by taking out this cloud over here. So... we'll probably just wait for it on this end, on this cycle. And then we'll see what we can do. Whoops, not quite. Yeah, probably just need to bounce gently here until we have the opportunity to land on top of it. There we go. That releases, and that allows me to traverse all the way back to the middle section that we had heard about earlier. Okay, at this point, we will do some of the ones in the middle that we had not previously seen because of issues dodging the Super Ball. Well, yeah, Netcat, those are very happy clouds. They're in heaven now, where clouds belong. And we'll have the last coin all the way up top, as we knew from previous experience. And since this is part of the required path, no sign of what's going on with the cake just yet, although it seemed like there was something like a P door that was part of the outline there. And so, even if you get all this, I wonder if there's something I'm missing that involves a P-switch interaction. You can go down by Skull, you can also go down by Donut Block and reverse in both directions, I think. Although that does put you at risk of getting hit by the Super Balls. That's okay, you'd be reasonably close to the SMB2 mushroom, though, at this point. Possibly the P door outline is also just there to fill out 2 locations there, but I don't see why that would be done. I mean, it's not really necessary if you only have 1 exit, so I wonder if we are supposed to look for some kind of P-switch. And we should maybe search around just to be clear about that, in case I am missing something. If not, we'll go through the key door as prescribed, and maybe there's a P-switch where I come back out through the key door and come back to this room and enter the PD that way. But we'll find out soon enough. Let's get in here. Okay, well, I mean, we do see some P-switches and a decoration, so that's suspicious. So you can enter here, and then... Okay, now we can fly. That's fine. We are likely to time out here at this point, I think. And then we drop on this guy. But then... do I need to be on the donut to pluck him out, or... Oh no, we can just go down low, I think, and... Well, we do need to kill a cloud, I think, and that's how things are going to go. It is going to be timeout, but let's see what's in the next room first before we come back and make any kind of attempt at that. It is going to be something cyclical that allows you to grab the power-up again. We'll have to keep that in mind as we come back here the next time. Okay, back to this segment. And there is going to be anti-key death because of the way that we had consumed the first coin upon dropping in a checkpoint, so anti-key death is going to get me directly over to the next segment and reuse this checkpoint. Then maybe this time we'll be able to read this segment properly. Oh, whoops. I wonder what else we missed here. I see. The cloud races to safety over here to the dry bones. I didn't see previously that winged block down there was a cloud that was formerly accessible. But it's very clear to me now that we need to race the cloud over and snatch it away and then destroy it before it's too late. Or we could just take this guy and probably just chuck him. Actually, no, yeah, we chuck him and then we have access to the cloud. Which then activates all that. Gives me a key. Well, we still don't know what the P-switches are about, apart from decoration, so... might have to be extra thorough here to see where the cake is potentially located. But no, we have more challenges, so that's fine. A key door over here, luckily we just need to manipulate the tracks so that the clouds are sent off the tracks in either direction, then we catch them on the other side, and that'll be it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Thought it might be something like that. Cooperates with a spiny head as well, which is nice. Okay, so that gets the clouds through to that location. And then the Thwomp can destroy them both. And then, with 2 entities destroyed, what does that do for me? It doesn't give me the key. Because I still need to poke the Thwomp, don't I? Ah, no, there we go. We just needed to scroll down, and that did everything necessary. Let's poke the other side too, just in case we have something else spawning on this end. To this question block, it looks like no. Maybe, however, if we kill the Thwomp somehow, if we find some way to do that, that would release the other question block, and then we get a second key. So we're still looking for some kind of secret. That would be one potential way to do it. Assuming that we can find some way to actually deal with the Thwomp. Okay, all those clouds are going up. This is just a Spiny Hat. Not much else going on here except a 50 coin. Let's go up. Oh, that's a lot of clouds. Okay, we've lost our safety margin of 1 here. It's okay. The SMB2 music works very well here, the boss music, because actually this does feel kind of like an SMB2 fight. That was usually all about the plugging interaction that we have been using on the clouds throughout the whole level. Okay. Now we do all that. Quite the entity block over here, that's for sure. Alright, let's move back up. Almost done. This would also be an interesting one to see somebody do a speedrun of. I mean, I'm not really the person who would do it, but I think this would make for some interesting strategies. Okay, that's going to be busted down in its entirety. And then we probably just exit out this store, yeah. Guilty. Oh, I love the effect of the audience here because they basically act as the jury. Or if not the jury, then certainly... Oh, okay, so you do need to keep the Spiny Hat going into this in order to go around the flagpole and get the bone shell on the left. Okay, let's redo this and get the Spiny Hat then. And yeah, guilty as charged. Oh, no, okay, Spiny Hat's still available on the left side there. Yep, we'll just do that. We'll just not get hit this time. Yeah, nice way to set that up. I mean, I think that's very obviously the bonus route at this point. Okay. Narrow escape there. Need to play it really safely, and we should be fine. Okay, managed to get 4 in one go. That's quite nice. Now it gets perhaps slightly riskier. But as long as the alternation gives me a nice, generous safe zone, we should be... oh, no, that's going to be a problem. Okay, almost. Let's not choke too badly here. Might as well power up the SMB2 jump. That solves some issues, potentially. Yeah, I should actually try using Divines on either side for once. That's not something we hadn't really been considering previously. Okay, there we go. And we're still guilty. The jury has not changed its mind. And yes, I was mentally counting how many figures were in the audience. It's fewer than 12, but enough to make quorum, perhaps. Jury of your peers. Okay. So, flagpole is just going to protrude over there. We have a door over here, as well as a bone shell, which... I mean, it's very tempting to pluck all of this. I don't know if there's an entity block that would be relevant to. Doesn't seem so, because the location here is the only spawner. There is this jump block on the left side, though, which might be something interesting. Okay, that's going to crush all of that. I wonder if that is blocking something. Also, no, there is a potential spawner and it's a red pipe. Okay, no, none of these clouds are on wings, so they don't count anyway. They're just normal blocks. So that's not relevant to our interests. The bone shell, however, could do something here. And we get a cake. Great. And we'll set off all of those clouds. Light them on fire. And all of these clouds are going to vanish? Okay, that's fine. Works for me. And having the bone shell, up we go. SMB2 jump would work just as well, and then we'll just take the top of the flagpole. And here we go. We killed the clouds and were rewarded with cake. And thank you for the GGs. You killed all of the clouds above the flag just to be sure. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be something using the entity block at that point, but who knows? I think, Captain Redbeard, that qualifies as a moral victory. Now, this has reasonably, or rather, relatively few comments on it because it was a day one re-upload. This guy seems sympathetic to the clouds. Now, Mang, the interesting thing here is that not only is he declaring you guilty, but he's been elected a judge after his performance managing the racetrack in Mario Kart. Seems to be quite a boost for Lakiitu's career. Sad Cloud. Noah is also sympathetic to the clouds, or maybe he just doesn't like being thrown in jail. What's the point of the checkpoint if there's no on-off block here? This guy needs to learn about anti-key death. Now, let's see. Oh, somebody's finding cake yummy. And Pink Top's so good that he played it twice. Look at how happy the cloud is on the tombstone. And oh, look, it's Cloud. In the cloud level. Okay, so let's move on to level number 4 in the set. Level number 4 is going to be Deja Vu Run by Mega Tefit. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, Mega Tefit is a really interesting maker in that his creations are either all the way up into really easy stuff, like 70 or 80%, or platforming that's right in that approachable expert pocket of about 2%. And this one's no exception. I have been here before, right? But it seems that everything got harder. And look at Toad. Toad is trying to tell you something. Toad is trying to give you a clue. Or is merely describing some kind of vicious car accident involving the Goomba. I'm not exactly sure, but Toad is trying to give us some kind of valuable insight. Alright, let's make a deja vu run. Run! Okay, sure. I don't know what the I is for. Maybe it's a 1, like a part 1. Oh, okay, no, that's what Toad was trying to tell us about, trying to warn us about all this. And that we need to go a little bit faster in order to get that coin. I am a bit behind the pace I need in order to take that and land safely. And yeah, sliding under is going to help there. Going to put me well ahead of pace. No, we need to jump up, and then it's going to hit the on-off blocks, or... Oh no, the on-off block is going to drop into the abyss. I need the spike wall to clear the path. And yeah, we're going to have some kind of a transformation of this level that's going to give you access to the coin that's in that top segment, so... The bricks are obviously spawn blocking tons of stuff, and you'll eventually spawn back in. Nope, missed. Bad idea. Bonking our heads on the ceiling already. But yeah, it's going to be a mix of on-off control, spawn blocking, all those methods that you can use for a bit of a transformation. And yeah, we're still in the on state, so no access to that top coin just yet, but now we need to bounce over some of the locations that remain after these previous incidents involving the spike balls wrecking everything. Hence the other part of the warning from Toad about the Goombas that are parked on top of these vehicles, if that's what they are. Parked on top of these wheels. Looks like it is supposed to be kind of like a train, almost. Feels very much like a train level in some respects, without the same kind of delineation of carriages that you often see. Okay, we'll read this accurately for once. This as well. Everything's going to get killed, and then we are through once again, and that's going to give you the on-off switch this time, now that the thwomp has been unblocked. Then you jump off of both of those. That's how you get on top of the pink coin, which is parked above some semi-solids. Parked above a semi-solid. And that's how that's going to work for the third pass through this section. And the third pass should let you out because of the way the on-off switch blocks off the top right corner. Okay, through we go. And up, and through. Okay, coming in a little bit low there. That could be improved. We'll try to do that just a little bit better. Now let's get in here, jump this, and go. Yeah, I could tell that I was losing a little bit of my horizontal positioning there, so we'll just adjust accordingly. And the same idea here, it's just a matter of some accuracy. I am pulling back on some of these jumps. They do need to be somewhat controlled. Everything's going to get busted down, and then here we are in this segment, which we have not been able to clear successfully yet, but as you can see, I'm a little bit behind after grabbing that coin up top. We can afford to do things there a little bit cleaner. Falling down directly from the top segment does appear to be the right idea, though. In terms of pacing, it's just that I am losing time on one of those jumps. Here we are. And through. No, we missed that. We want to take it, so let's redo it. Okay. Nope. Sometimes we just know when it's not going to happen. And that was just one of those moments. Anyway, all the way through. Yeah, probably just lagging behind a little bit too much on that jump in general. The pacing, when you do go for the pink coins, can be tight enough to enforce that you keep your jumps nice and crisp without spending too much time in the air. Because right now I am overcommitting to a lot of these jumps and having to pull back, and as you can see, that's going to lead to some timing issues once we do go for coin number 2. So shorter jumps are the key here. Okay, we are going late on that jump, partly because I'm reacting to it late once the camera scrolls down with me. Slowing down too much there on that slide. Very clear where the mistake was coming from. Okay, nice and crisp that time. And we've got plenty of distance ahead. That's going to go smoothly. Next. And then we'll just dash ahead. That's also going to go quite smoothly. Now, once again, let's keep the jumps nice and crisp. Nope, that's too far behind. Or so it seems, yeah, too far behind. I knew that was going to be a problem. I did make it further than I expected, just given how early we were running into some issues with horizontal positioning. Let's push it. A bit more here. And then, same idea. Yeah, I like how well spaced everything is in order to make each of the segments come together. I feel like the tuning is really the thing that stands out about this level, just in terms of having everything together in the proper place to support all of the jump distances in all 3 runs. Here's part 2 after checkpoint. So yeah, that was a Roman numeral after all. Okay, we'll need to do a bit of a short jump there and probably think about what to do with that mole. Ah, okay, the mole is actually just sitting on top of the platform there. That's simple enough. Yep, slide. Yeah, definitely like that segment, the way you go over. How do I get that coin? Not yet. I think that coin is going to have to come with the next segment here. And up we go. Very clean. Here's part 3. We can expect 2 more coins before the safety coin then. Once we get some of these depths sorted out. Yeah, very satisfied with how smoothly segment 2 went. But partly it's just a matter of getting into the rhythm and understanding how tightly the timing is going to be tuned across this level and just setting your expectations accordingly. So it's one of these levels that does benefit a lot from just getting warmed up as a player going in. Now I did hit coin 5 by that point, but I wasn't all that attentive to how we went about doing it, so let's just get around here. Ah, coin 5, okay, that's simple enough. Just an extra jump that doesn't really lose any time. A I've not really paid much attention to where coin 6 is going to be located, though, and so we'll have to do that and not lose too much time over here. Possibly in this pass, then. Climb Divine, and then we do need to go right, and it's going to be the same zigzag plump segment that is on the top row. Like I said, I haven't actually seen where coin 6 is yet, but it may just be that we haven't managed to scroll the camera high enough to take a proper look at it once we are on the top row. Currently, I'm not able to see it in our first pass through. Segment 3 of this level here. So yeah, we'll just continue pushing away at this, cleaning up some of the jumps as we go, not missing the coin, which I was just saying earlier seemed like one of the easier ones to obtain. I do see hard blocks on the top right that indicates that there's going to be some kind of big scroll break that comes in at the end too, with perhaps some additional spike ball just eradicating everything. And so we'll manage that as we get back into that position. Try to make it all the way to the end, hopefully with coin number 6 in tow. Once we've scouted its location. Short bounces here are going to be okay. Now, let's see how this is going to go. And yes, I do see the coin now. That's been revealed. It was previously hidden. But we see now that you need to ride a Buzzy up and then hit that. So I think the idea is to land on the second Buzzy, the lower one, as soon as I can, not do any kind of adjustment jump, and make sure I lead it upwards. Because then that's going to give me enough jump height to hit coin 6, which is disguised currently by that grinder blade that is sent to cover it on top of that track. So and here, that's going to be a time-sensitive. Okay, that's interesting. I'm clearly going too slow then to get that coin, but then am I supposed to let the Buzzy sink and ride it down under that piranha, or is something else going on here? I don't know. I feel like I wasn't heading back down quickly enough, but I don't know what the intended interaction is when you don't go for the extra coin there, so. Didn't seem like I had much room to move on the bottom segment, but I am losing some time on certain things like Divines, so we'll just need to anticipate that in advance, save some time, make sure we get as far ahead of the spike ball as we can, because maybe going too slowly up to that point was the problem we had all along on the third pass in this section. Okay, up we go. And through. Same idea here, anticipate Divine and miss. Okay, up we go. Same idea as before in this segment. This hasn't been giving me too much trouble. You know how it works. Just understanding right away that you do short bounces over to Goombas is enough to make everything happen here. Okay. Yeah, you are supposed to go down immediately, and so I think I'm losing too much time in going for that coin, and that's not going to be the correct pattern because it doesn't allow me to fall down quickly enough. I need to fall pretty much immediately after I get the coin, I think. And that's going to require rethinking how I'm approaching that completely. Because I think the expectation is that normally if you don't go for that coin, you fall off the second Buzzy immediately and get ahead of the spike ball that way. Because clearly you do have to go over the blocks, so... no, that's a miss, but as you can see, that is the correct timing. And it does get you over there safely. Alright. Here we go. Yeah, in general, I like how well disguised everything is in this mechanic. Obviously, it's just vine blocks in certain bricks that are meant to respawn. But the fact that the spike ball just cuts through all of them directly means that the illusion is just completely preserved. So now, if we want to go through here for the key, we can do that. I guess that's where it gives me the safety coin. Yeah. And death, if... I see. So that's how you manage the safety coin. I wonder if the death here would really be necessary. I mean, I guess, you know, with something like this, people would be SDing out of it anyway, so if they have not hit completion up to this point and they just want to respawn at the last checkpoint. Anyway, all you can eat. Let's snack on this cake. And go down the central candle, which is just going to pop me right back out. And that's completion. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comment art. This one has quite a lot on it. Thank you for the GGs. And SDGML, I see, has been playing these, catching up at last. I did see her on stream, actually, briefly, before I got up and running. It's nice to see more people around the community getting in. You have 3 Mangs, one for each time warp or time dilation. I like how many of the comment cards that people are choosing have multiple characters on them, like Mario and Luigi, Luigi and Mario, etc. Toad and Toadette. I know how hard spawn blocking can be at this scale. Do you really? I mean, from a technical perspective, it's not that difficult. It's the design, in terms of laying out the platforming itself, that is the really interesting thing here, I think, and the thing that you need a good designer like Megatefit behind. But the actual tech is, I think, immediately understandable to anybody who understands the spawning rules in this game, in terms of what persists between the door resets. Some people declaring their membership in the Cake Gang. This guy thinks he's playing Minecraft. And, oh, this is interesting. I like this one. Actually fits the mechanic, which is not something you can say of all of the comments here. Do I want to know what this is? It's like somebody is tied down on the tracks or something. I don't know. I have no idea. The figure in the bottom left is trying to say something, and we just can't make out what it is because the artist was unable to render it. Okay. That's it for that one. Let's go on to the next level. Next one up is going to be time for Taco. It is going to be, if we can find it, Mario Regrets Taco Bell. a themed level and an art level. I think that's probably quite true. And that's when an inside joke turns into an outside joke. Like when you're eating at Taco Bell. So there is a little bit of a backstory behind this level for anybody watching who was not privy to 5YMM history. Mario Regrets Taco Bell was kind of the placeholder text that was used in 4YMM when things like the website were being laid out. And before any of the levels were actually made. Interesting that you have a pink coin that's just sort of underneath this car here. I feel like that's indicative of the pink coins either not being relevant, or perhaps there's something like a linear checkpoint system that requires one spare coin to be tucked out of the way. Although, as you can see from hard blocks here, it is potentially possible to have a scroll break that comes back. Anyway, let's park at Taco Bell and not worry too much about the coins under the wheels. Here's a dining table. Lemmy was tossing balls of stuff at the dining table, which is maybe not the best service. So he's been fired, it seems, and oh, time to regret Taco Bell. I mean, maybe the balls there were supposed to be the tacos that were being served and just being chucked at you. Okay, so now we just need to pig out on all this. And once again, that doesn't look accessible either, at least not yet. Maybe it will be eventually, given some other reversal through this mechanic. P-switch is going to get bumped towards the muncher, and then that's going to open that up. And then we just survive until... no, we don't. We can just bust through this. We have a belly full of Taco Bell. Patience is not exactly a virtue here. Anyway, we'll set everything on fire. Tap this. Set everything on fire. Have a bit of a meltdown here. And, okay. Here we go. Now, this is going to be a power-up swap level. Seems like we're having the spicy tacos. Where every now and then you just have to expel some fire. We're going to start with the P-balloon right away after the door, so we don't actually need to get this. This is just to make sure people are familiar with knocking out the ice blocks on a moment's notice, design-wise. Whoops. It is an auto-scroll, no need to rush it, as long as we're on pace. This makes me wonder how the keycoin route is going to turn out, though. Okay, feather, we float. And yeah, that was a bad idea. Luckily, you can survive up to a point. Surprisingly, in fact. That the feather helps you, but it's not really a hard requirement. So clearly something is going to be going on with the coins here, and we'll have to eventually inspect that when we go through the first section, however it is that's working. Oh, whoops, didn't expect to twirl that high once again. We need to fire the bomb. This kind of interaction I do remember from a certain Kaizo level by Mr. Electrodude. Just using the fire flower to tip the bomb out of the stack. That's how things are going to go. Of course, this is not over lava. This is merely over Taco Bell. So things are going to be a bit different, but the idea of dislodging the bomb is fundamentally going to be quite similar. Yeah, I have to make sure we remember that we are in these night mechanics here and compensate for the extra high jump. Nope, forgot this guy. Just need to go for that directly. Anyway, let's buy some more time at the auto-scroll this time. Okay. Not the most precise P-balloon piloting, but that's okay. We'll live. No, we want this, so that's okay. We'll have it. A little bit behind pace for this part here, but we'll make do, grab the coin, turn around quickly without too much bumping. Oh, that's too much bumping. Alright, through we are. Nope, not quite. Okay, up we go. And again, we'll just float down to the second mole. I think that's easiest. That allows me to easily hold a jump and sail down to the P-balloon in good time. Okay, missing that. Unfortunately, just letting up on gas a little too early. When I meant to touch the coin and do a nice, quick turnaround. Nope, that's going to be an issue. Yeah, let's not overdo the boost here. This felt like a Nuku Kaza level when we were playing it. I'm surprised he doesn't have the world record on this yet, but I assume he just hasn't played it. But you know that if people are going to be... Well, I mean, it is an auto-scroll, so it's not like you have that much latitude to be doing world record movements, but to the extent that anything can be optimized with the P-balloon, you know that somebody in that's a P-balloon club. And that is so familiar to us by now. He's just going to snatch that. Yeah, nice to have a P-balloon level here. I don't think there was one in 4YMM. Unless I'm forgetting something. But of course, the P-balloon was fairly new at the time, so... And of course, Mario Regrets Taco Bell was something that was originally, to my knowledge, kind of in reserve for 4YMM. It was held for this year. Nope. Gotta grab that. Tap the bomb. No, too slow. Too slow. And you see that there is a third coin available shortly after. And so we'll see what happens with those early coins that we didn't seem to have access to. What they were all about. I know. Not quite, but once again, all readily survivable. This level is very gentle that way. And then we'll boost up here. Yeah, we don't want to be holding jump into the first bounce. That's the thing that is a key to understanding all that. Yeah, we were supposed to land on the P-balloons there in order to continue. And then that's a survival segment. Where Iggy is not going to let you out quite so easily. Yeah, so we do need to swap rapidly. Grab this guy as soon as we can. Might as well just sail directly down. No need to bop every mole if we can get some corners here and there and try to do things as quickly as possible. Particularly with that power-up swap to the flower, which has been giving me a few issues. Yeah, it's still much too slow there, usually because the bumper taking me up to the flower is something that I am hitting inaccurately. I am hitting it a little bit off to the side, and that's a bit of an issue. Nat Cat, I don't think the tacos are there to be redeemed. They have not yet found their savior. Okay. We are making slightly better time here on this segment. Okay, let's try to land dead center this time. There we go, much better. Much smoother on this whole part, in fact. Yeah, no, I need to turn and then hit the P-balloon on the left there, and then the scroll stops here, so there's no particular urgency to go right at this point. I mainly need to focus on recovering over to the P-balloon on the left after firing that bomb. Yeah, if any of you see Paxman streaming, Paxman, the creator of this level, who most of you know is also a streamer, you should legitimately suggest some of those taco reward systems to him. I think that's a much better fit for his stream than mine at this point. Whoops. Nope, too much of a boost. Let's just take death. Anyway, I'm glad that the two of you in chat, Natcat and Meng, have invented currency. Okay, yeah, nice and quick. That's the way to do that. In fact, the deflection does help. We should use the deflection to our advantage to give us a bit of a push whenever possible. As you can see, positionally, I'm much better off now than I was before. And because I'm taking advantage of the bounce rather than trying to avoid it. There we go. Got that at last. 3 coins in, and then we are going to dodge. Luckily, we do have some practice with this, having played a number of P-balloon levels at this point that use something very similar. And that's not going to be terribly punishing to us anyway, so... Whoops, let's not fall into the pit. And here, yeah, sure, we can do that. Now, what happens in this segment? Okay. Looks like Morton has something to say about our attempted escape. Whoa, okay, let's hit these switches. We need to alternate between either side. And, nope, we're going to fall. Fairly easy to see what's happening here, though, that there is an alternation, and you get a choice of switches on either side, left and right. But then, once you activate one, you do have to go for the other next time you alternate positions. And that's fairly quick, and pretty doable. Okay, good. Just barely evaded that projectile by getting that kill. Up we go. Okay, so much for that. This totally looks like a scroll break of some sort. Probably something that sends you back here afterwards, perhaps. I don't exactly know, because we only have these 3 coins so far. How do we even get those early ones, then? Do we need to just redo the level? Because we do need to redo it, because I didn't know how to obtain the ones at the very start, and we didn't look at that clearly enough, I think. I'm curious. We'll have to redo it. That's okay. Because it was at the very start, in the first segment there, where things looked obstructed, and I didn't know if we would have a second chance to go back there to scout a bit further, so let's explore. And we know how the level works at this point, so it shouldn't be too difficult to manage any of that. But yeah, look at this. You need an on-off activation in order to come back here. You can't do it with an on-off switch. There is a half-tile build here. That's sort of interesting. So can we reverse through the door after an on-off activation? We need to figure out how we might go about that. Or do we come back here by... I mean, originally I was thinking we come back here by scroll break. Ah, I see. Yeah, there is an on-off activation here. I wasn't even thinking about that at the time, and this is actually a very easy one to do. The second one I just completely missed, though, so... Natcat, I see the calls are coming from inside the restaurant. Anyway, let's watch how to do the next one this time, before we proceed any further forward. We need a P-switch. If we have a P-switch, the coin transforms into a block, and then you hit the block, and then that picks up the coin. At this point in the level, I didn't know that there was a P-switch involved, and so that's why I skipped right over that, and just grabbed the coin, I think, or ignored it completely. But this is also really easy to get, and so that's fine then, we can do that. I haven't really seen a lot of coin pickups set up that way, even though it's just the simplest thing to do. So that's some pretty nice coin placement here from X-Man. Some interesting ideas there for things that I didn't know if we would have a chance to return to later, so hopefully we can have a nice clean run through the rest of this, having bounced against it a few times. Yeah, because by the time I got to this coin, I started having a feeling that, oh, maybe I was supposed to collect everything so far, and that there isn't some kind of reversal that we didn't know about. And because here, the coin placements become much more obviously a one-time thing. Might be easier with the cape there to slow me down, actually. And that's the last coin, and that's simple. So we just redo this. Nope, firing the wrong way. I was bending to the left to grab the next P-balloon, and I did that too soon before I started shooting. That's quite the story that's going on with the restaurant reviewing, by the way. In terms of this taco RPG that we have going on at the same time. Just so you know, I am attentive to that. I just have nothing in particular to add to the proceedings. But anyway, dynamic and emergent narrative. That's what video games do from time to time. Especially when they involve tacos. Okay. In we go. Nice and quick. Okay, that worked out well. We're going to hit that, and then... Okay, good. Nice catch. Okay, now that's going to take care of itself rather quickly. You know, Natcat, I have no idea what kind of restaurant you would actually run. So, Mang, Chapter 11 is bankruptcy filing in the United States. I sort of assumed that Natcat would run an Italian restaurant, actually. But that's just my general sense of things. Oh, let's not do that. Thought I could dodge that. Didn't account for the P-balloon turning radius. Whoops. Okay, barely dodging Morton fire over there on the ceiling. I didn't really realize that was an issue earlier. But yeah, one more hit is just going to do everything fine. Luckily, we're completely immune to the stun lock, because nothing prevents dying to Morton's stun lock quite like Taco Bell. Okay, now, for real this time. Anyway, whoops. I didn't mean to go through that. Come on, let's go back. Let's not hit up on top of the door. Okay, 5YMM, and you can see that the Koopas from the beginning of the level, having had Lemmy Balls tossed all over their tables, are now enjoying snacking on the taco cake. Of course, I'm going to try some stuff. Oh, no. Okay. I'm glad that was anticipated. I am going to check all of them. You know that. And yeah, everything is thoroughly protected. We'll just munch the taco all day. Alright, that's fine. Sure, let's get the 1-up for Endless. You just don't know when you'll need it. And let's head back out to the ending. Okay. That's it for the tacos. And it seems like in chat there was an entire restaurant management adventure that took place over the course of that level. But we will first look at some of the comments. Very few comments on this one, but again, I think it was something that was a day 1 patch. And so, look at Mang all wrapped up in that taco. 69 euro. Which converted to whatever the local currency was in the restaurant that you just set up in chat. Don't exactly know how much that's worth, but... Anyway. This guy still wants cake. This guy thinks the taco is a cake. Which it is, in its own way. And yeah, not too much going on here just yet, but I'm sure it will fill in as people also have their fill. Next level is going to be The Chaser by Chirisu from South Korea, some of whose platforming levels we played over the weekend. And so, looking forward to what this mechanic is going to be as we are given a hyperspeed warning to fasten our seatbelts. Chirisu having clearly found one of the remaining hyperspeed mechanics, apparently, that has not been nuked by Nintendo. The cake is right there in the title image. We'll see if we can find it somehow by looking for a red pipe. Let's go. The Chaser is a good Korean film too. I don't know if I know it. I did actually catch up on a lot of Korean cinema a few years ago. But The Chaser is not one that rings a bell to me, so... if you remind me of what it is, maybe I would have heard of it or something related to it. But thanks for making a note of that, Netcat. Okay, platforming it is. No pink coins in this one, unlike nearly everything we've seen so far. In fact, I'm trying to think of all of the levels that we have seen today, and of course the cake in Cloud Killer didn't involve the pink coins. That was just part of the standard checkpoint mechanism, but all the other ones did. Ah, okay, it's just a spring. And then we came in a little bit low. And yeah, coming in a little bit to the left again, but that's easy to fix. Nope. Probably should let the trampoline drop a little bit lower, in fact, to give me a bit of headroom there, because hitting the corner is currently the biggest issue I'm running into. That's too low. We need to find a sweet spot. And it's not really like I was hitting it too high, it's just I was too far to the left when I was doing so. Okay, cloud here. And slide. And then, high jump. Oh, should have stayed crouched because now we just die. Yeah, interesting power-up check location for the SMB2 mushroom there. You do just have to get through everything quickly or you get nuked by all the icicles and everything else. So it looks reasonably secure. Okay, up we go. And then we stay crouched. Pluck. Nope, didn't react to that very quickly. Took me a moment to realize what was going on, and then we need to get past that ice segment before the bombs blow everything up. Yeah, just reading it a little bit at a time. Picking it up as we go. And then, here we are. Nice touch with that icicle and muncher, just enforcing a bit of speed over there as well. Then, yeah, we need momentum. Nope, we should have jumped over. I misjudged that. Yep, just barely over. It's about as low as you can go without running into trouble. But yeah, it does give you a little bit of reaction time, just need to be a bit careful with that. Probably don't want to pluck these clouds. And through we go to checkpoint 1, which will then activate the thwomp. You get on top of the mole, well, eventually. And then it's going to be another crouch jump up to the trampoline, and by now we know how to recognize that as a spot where we do need to remain crouched. Interestingly enough, you don't seem to develop enough speed that way. Either that or I was already within range of activating the thwomp, so maybe... No, I mean, I do need to go up, it's just that we need to watch the thwomp timing, perhaps. And yeah, Ninjar. That's Ninjar. This is a, pretty fun concept. Whoops. Yeah, we just need to go fast enough against that thwomp. I think we need to wait a little bit longer for the cannons to brace the trampolines there. I may be going too fast on this release here. Maybe. Or perhaps I don't understand something about the way I'm leaning in. Possibly I need to lean towards the left or do something to pick up as much momentum as I can. Nope, too late. Yeah, because it seems like the cannonball is supposed to coast me forward. But I'm not exactly sure about that. Looking at the cannon positioning here. Interesting what's going on with the cannonball going to the right. Oh, it's because of the spawn under the jump block. Let's rethink this. There's clearly something I'm misreading here. As you pass everything, looking at the POW block... Okay, there we go. You do need to hang back a little bit and then go all the way forward to get both bounces, so... I think the thing I was misunderstanding is that maybe I do need to lean into the wall on my way down. Nope, too late. Yeah, because I'm not really going to be able to read the timing on the cannonball very much. I think I just need to make sure I get a full bounce. That takes me all the way over. The timing is going to take me a moment to work out here. And yeah, no, you do kind of hang back. And then after that, you obviously still need SMB2 in order to probably get on top of the red cannonball at full speed. And then get a high jump off of that as you reach the ending. Yeah, trying to hold jump into this. I'm actually not holding jump fast enough going into the Wiggler. I may have to hold it going into the trampolines on the side in the first place, so we don't have to react. There we go. Okay, it wasn't supposed to hit that icicle, I don't think. I was supposed to go under and then over to the coin. The coin is going to give me the position to land with the SMB2 mushroom to keep pace with the red cannonball. Very nice. And yet, you just need to hold jump going into the fall, and then that positions you very reliably every time, in fact. So, that was just the part I was missing. You do need to lean left, though. I was trying it without leaning left just to see if maybe fixing the jump button being pressed was enough, but no, you do need to lean into the wall. I do like how the level lets you figure that out. Like, just gives you enough information to determine the inputs you need in order to play the mechanic. We ended up a little too far to the right there. I think I was supposed to get onto the shell. The shell sails over to the right, and then that gives me an opportunity to get to the blue platform. Unless I get up to the blue platform directly, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm still beating that a little bit fast, I think. I do need to pull back towards it, which is unexpected. I wasn't expecting to get ahead of pace like that. Okay. Yeah, going for the coin actually solves a couple of issues here. And we're reacting to that really quickly. Once again, we didn't really hold the jump going into that. I don't know if you want to hold the jump going into both wigglers there, or if there's going to be a very specific timing to press the jump button, given that the first wiggler ordinarily would look like a short bounce going into the second one. But maybe you hit the ceiling quickly enough that the wigglers do bounce you the intended pattern just by holding jump. Okay. And yeah. We'd better get out of here. Okay. What is going on there then? Because everything is telling me down. It looks like I was supposed to get back onto the cannonball, but doing so didn't really give me what I wanted. Possibly it's saying down because I need to pick up the cannonball at that point and then throw it into the plant in order to get through. Okay, there we are. Oh, whoops, no, just missed a second press. But yeah, this one is tons of fun because it does require you to understand what to do input-wise in a way that you would not have necessarily done in any level before. But it gives you just enough information on screen and just enough tools to understand what you have to do in order to adjust your inputs accordingly to get everything to work. And doing that in a very momentum-driven context, it is something that reminds me actually of a lot of Mang's levels, which also have a lot of this slide momentum going on, but in a context that often challenges you to learn new mechanics on the fly. And so, really quite interesting because the other levels that I played from this maker previously were, I mean, they were action-packed platforming, but they were much more standard in terms of what the platforming mechanic was. And so, This is really quite nice to see. Okay, so we run over here, grab this, do this, and we're through. Master Sword, and that's just going to be a power-up check. Okay. So far, we haven't seen anything in terms of the optional content. So we have a door down here, a boss. Yeah, this is just giving you a power-up in case you lose it for some reason here. Let's see what's going on. And yeah, Netcat, I am aware. I don't actually know Jersu's streaming handle. Because as a Korean streamer, obviously, I don't necessarily know how their handles are localized or searchable. Because I've seen, of course, a lot of Korean Twitch accounts with dual naming, like one Korean name and one name in the Latin alphabet. Whoops, no, that is timing dependent. We do need to go through safely, and then we need to drop in over to the other side, probably get on top of that blue platform. So let's try to read this a little more accurately here. Left. And then we would probably need to land on top of that platform and then eventually do some kind of shell throw using the SMB2 mushroom. Now, I'm guessing that's probably going to be the case. Yeah, because you go up the platforms, and then once you go up the platforms, you do a shell throw that hits the boss. Okay, so it is just Jersu on Twitch. Good to know, Netcat. Yeah, because I think we just make it around, and then... Okay, it's a Wendy, so we do need to probably do 3 activations here. But to do that, we need to get back to the left side in order to pick up another shell off the next claw. And so we cycle through that 3 times, and we take out Wendy on the right side of this zone. I'm really glad to see that this unique platform mechanic actually did have a boss designed around it. It's too good a mechanic after training you on that for the entirety of the level to go to waste without having some really ambitious expression, like what we see here. And yeah, it's dense, it's busy, but it's also instantly understandable. It's difficult to execute, but I felt like even before I saw Wendy and the arrows pointing me towards her, that it was pretty easy to perceive how things were going to go. Now, one thing that does occur to me here is looking at the blue platforms. We will see what happens to our passageway across once these are expended, because I'm also looking at the distance that we're covering here. And okay, that I definitely need a bit more of a pullback on. We only really can get 1 bounce there, not 2, I think. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about how does it put together so I can see how to predict our path for shots 2 and 3. Nope. We do need to pull back on a first landing, but not after that. So yeah, you do need fairly quick reflexes to understand how to do this. Nope, too quick. And we're getting dunked. It's quite nice too to see a boss room that is not just one single scroll-locked room, like most boss fights tend to be. But a concept that is just built with a proper sense of space for you to do a lot of this speedy platforming. Okay, this is going to be death. I think that you can't just drop the platforms everywhere and have things still function. You do need a shell to hit on the other side, so... Let's do it once again. Okay, we didn't properly lean into the wall that time. didn't previously have too many issues with it. The thing about leaning into the wall is that it also gives you the right input to be pulling back to cut momentum on your way over, which is what we need to do, in fact. You do need to pull back. And then make it back up. And then let's watch this timing. And yeah, because you're traveling such a great distance, you do have all the platforms put back into position when you scroll back over. Because it guarantees that your position is going to go down the column over here that obtains the claw. Which means that as the maker, you do, in fact, have a very reliable understanding of what the spawning and despawning ranges are going to be, because the player is always forced down the same consistent one-tile columns. Let's lean into the wall. We know that by now. But yeah, it's the kind of boss concept where you need the level in front of it in order to train the player on the central mechanic of how to play it. And at the same time, the platforming element is just begging for something really ambitious like this that allows you to cycle around. And so it's just this excellent match of platforming level and boss design, I think, that just creates this situation where one really would be worse off without the other. Okay, I pulled back a little too hard that time, or maybe I didn't hold the jump firmly enough. If I pull back to the left and hold the jump all the way, I think that is fine and probably consistent, but we'll try to experiment with this and see if that's going to work out well. Not quite, but it allows me to reposition myself a bit. And so it's not actually that time sensitive when we pull back all the way like that. However, that's going to get me into trouble, so yeah, it's obviously smoothest if you just sail all the way across and do it nice and speedily. But you can, in fact, get to a position of safety temporarily over the wigglers if you bounce around in the center and take the time to reposition yourself. Thin Watermelon, I'm not doing that on this stream, but yes, when I do my puzzle stream, I do take level suggestions. I also take level suggestions in my channel's Discord, where I sometimes pick up some codes as well. But if you come on one of the dedicated puzzle streams, then yeah, usually I'll have a few that are a preset that I have in mind, and I don't run the formal queue because I don't know how anything is going to go in terms of how long it will take, but I do take a few viewer levels in there if I can on a bit of an informal basis. We actually just did that on the puzzle stream last week. When I ran one, we had a viewer requested troll and then a viewer requested one screen and some other things. And so the answer is yes, but not today, because today we're just doing 5YMM. And yeah, if you put it in the Discord, then if I'm planning the puzzle stream in advance and just kind of mapping out a level list to look at, then I can plan around it, and that's going to be a little bit easier. I don't know when my next puzzle stream is going to be, because I usually try to do it once every week or two, but this week my schedule is going to be a little bit reduced. But I'll definitely try to put that in. We're always on the lookout for more puzzle makers here. Because I know that, you know, as a puzzle maker, you can only find so many people to do a playtest sometimes, depending on their patience for that genre and their ability to just see the whole thing through. And so that is territory we do try to cover. And yeah, looking forward to yours. We haven't seen a puzzle level in this set yet, but I believe it's the next one after this in today's 5YMM selection. Anyway, we were doing this part better earlier. I think I've gotten steadily worse at it, actually. No, we know that I want to pull back all the way. And that activating the wigglers shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. Because they're just going to be bunched up there anyhow. Yeah. Calmly activating that is going to work very well positionally. Let's evade the fire. Yeah, no need to rush. It's a lot easier if we don't rush it. No, but I do need to remember to hang all the way left instead of just tossing the shell by taking damage and killing all the wigglers in that stack. No, I think we actually have a reliable method. I just need to remember to execute it on every descent and watch the fire as we go as well. Yeah, go for multiple bounces here. Like I showed off earlier, it is doable on single bounces, but probably not advisable. Unless you really know what you're doing. I do think that a speedrun of this level would be very interesting to watch. Specifically because of this section. And, you know, just seeing somebody master how to do this left-right cycle with one bounce each time. Okay, let's let the fire get out of the way. No. We need the fire to be on the vertical part of the track, otherwise it deflects back towards us far too quickly. And that's something I'm not watching very carefully, so... Let's go back to it. And Nadelia Sunshine is going to request Toad. That's going to take effect with the next attempt. Okay, let's let the fire go up the vertical section. Nope, that's a miss. I don't know if this kind of miss is actually recoverable. I mean, we'd have to bounce all the way back to the left and back to the right. Interestingly enough, no, it does not let me hit the Mecha Koopa, because the Mecha Koopa does have P-blocks in front of it. Anyway, Toad time. Okay, there we go. Pull back. And make sure the shell actually crosses over. Nope, same mistake. Too impatient. I know exactly how to do this, it's just that the reaction time and perhaps a little bit of internal mental scrambling about this does throw me off and lead to a few mistakes that I know are perfectly avoidable. Let's wait for the next cycle here with the fire going up. Activate all the wigglers just for completeness. Wait for the fire. Second hit on Wendy. And then this location is actually safe. Yeah, if you're paying attention, you can do it. I wonder if I can reset. No, I can't. It's not far enough. Okay, so that will be death. That's the best we've done so far, though, and like I said, I know the method. We just need to do it. And we'll gradually get there. One bounce at a time. Okay, up we go. Down. Yeah, just need to do a bit of mid-air momentum adjustment so we don't lose too much height on the blue platforms. Whoops. Leaned into the wrong direction. It's really not hard. You just need to remember the sequence of inputs that you're aiming for. That's all there is to it. It's not actually a difficult fight. It's just that you do have to keep track of a couple of different actions that are unconventional, and so you do need to be much more conscious of your inputs than you normally would be in the course of playing Mario. Okay, up we go. And we still haven't found a cake, so for all I know, I will need to come back. We need to go back in order to get up to the key door, I think, so. I feel like this is just long enough. I like the whole sequence here in terms of how many hits you have to do. On-off switch, oh, it just releases. Now, do we have a way over to the cake? We don't know yet. Well, the cake is just part of the standard path, which for a level like this is fine, I think, just given, you know, that we've had quite a lot to look at prior to this. Yeah, not all the cakes are going to be secret. This is, I think, the first non-optional one that we've seen so far this year. This is another respect in which it's like a Mang level. There's a boom boom ending. Yeah, we're getting it for completeness. We didn't quite get the right bounce. I know it's supposed to be this really satisfying sweep that takes you all the way through. But we just had one shot at that at the end and missed. But thank you for the GGs. Fantastic level. I think it's one of my favorites from this season so far. Let's take a look at the comments. And yeah, it's a pretty wacky level. And I wonder which section this guy is talking about. Stylé, mais cette section est pas claire, c'est dommage. Yeah, he's just saying that something is unclear. Particular section, maybe the boss, but who knows. Anyway, what am I even looking at here? It looks like a hand. Cake. Now that was Sonic speed. 5YM and a free cake. Yeah, I think it's definitely something that the players have earned. And what else do we have here? More cake? More cake? It's a recreation of the movie poster from The Chaser. Okay, I thought it might be something like that. From what Natcat was telling me earlier. 40-minute GG, well, congratulations to Bad Angel for pushing through it. Oh, look at this. They are crying. They worked through some tears. Speed. Yeah, lots of speed. It is a great boss fight, absolutely agreed. With that comment drop there. Oh, look at this. Green Mario here, totally outrunning Sonic. Thanks to some of the assistive devices present in the level. Okay. Let's take a look at level number 7. And at last we're going to have a puzzle, so let's bring up Floatum Poles by Zerfink, who also made a puzzle level back in 4YM. In fact, if I recall correctly, Zerfink had 2 levels last year. One was a puzzle with scroll breaks and camera control and respawning through doors everywhere. And the other one was a Thwomp action level. So now we'll see what happens when those 2 elements are put together, where we'll find our way through the puzzling Floatum Pole challenges. 3-minute record by Major, who is, of course, another puzzle/troll maker, who decided to map this one out. Relatively few plays so far, but that's because this one also had a day 1 fix, I believe. Almost no comments on it either, in fact. So, let's get to clear. Natcat said you really, really enjoyed this one. Oh, looking forward to it. Yeah, I thought Zerfink's level last year was quite memorable in terms of the things that were going on with door tech. And okay, camera is going to freely scroll around here, so that's not what these doors are going to be about. Let's see if they are matched, just in case. Yeah, I guess that is just going to be a reset in case you do something like kill the Thwomp on the on-off switch, which can always happen. I think the idea here is that you activate Thwomps in sequence such that the Thwomp has a new resting position. Since the Thwomp has a new resting position, you should be able to reposition it. But let's make sure we know this for sure. Let's No, the thwomp actually went back to the same resting position. What you need to do is you need to raise the side thwomp. You lower this thwomp first. You tap the switch. You do this. And then you lower this, and then the thwomp goes up. You probably didn't want to activate this guy, though, but that doesn't get you anything so far. This is just a bit of a tutorial room, I think, to make sure you understand the thwomp push. Because currently I don't see the side thwomp giving me anything useful apart from eventually having to be pushed over here so I can spin jump over to the next location. Probably easier at this point if we do a quick reload here. So let's be wary of accidentally repositioning thwomps when we don't mean to. Okay, that's going to move that thwomp all the way up. What we want to do at this point is I want to activate the side thwomp because then it will slide all the way back and then give me the spin jump location that I'm looking for. Okay, good. That's not a cake, that's just a face. With 3 vines coming out of it. Maybe. Oh, because this is the lair of the Thwotum poles, that's why. So these are like masks. Ritual masks that are used by the thwomps in their tribal traditions. Okay, thwomp can kill, or rather Pow can kill the thwomp. I feel like I want to keep one Pow. That one's not going to do anything, and that one isn't really something we can activate yet anyhow. We don't have that Pow within range of anything that has spawned in, so let's not deal with it just yet. Whoops, let's not do that either. We can basically do 2 things here. We can do a thwomp reposition, not here in this location, or we can kill it. If we kill it directly, eventually we will probably need to zone it back some other way. So yeah, this Pow is interesting. We will probably have to figure out... Okay, the arrows tell you which way the thwomps are facing. I think the way this is going to happen is that if we manage to get the thwomp on the right within Pow range, then we are pretty much set. In order to do that, however, we need this thwomp to have gone over to the right side, and to do that, we needed to do something else to move him. Because don't we need... Whoops. To... Yeah, I'm just thinking about this position here. Let's redo it. Let's redo it. Okay. Yeah, we always need to think about the reset locations for the thwomps and the maximum extent that they go to after the fact. Let's reset that instead of going too fast. And then, yeah, the idea is that we want to make thwomp stacks, which are the Thwotum poles of legend. Okay, up we go. And that got trapped at the end, which is fine by me. Yeah, we probably want some kind of series of interactions that allows me to destroy that block, perhaps. Notice that the thwomp is not backing up any further from this being its initial placement. I wonder if we can manipulate that somehow by sort of shunting its position such that it is going to try to move all the way back. I feel like we do need to keep it alive, maybe. But that Pow is also encouraging you to kill it. Let's kill it. And this does not get me across, okay. Just making sure. Yeah, let's not spend the Pow yet. We will need to rethink how to do that. That's going to go up. Let's not activate the thwomp. We've made that mistake a few times already. Yeah, this section here allows me to potentially do some kind of reset. The reset is just going to respawn to POWs. And yeah, we do that little bump over here. Notice that we nudged the thwomp slightly. That doesn't do much for me, though. That thwomp goes to the left. I don't know what to do with these hard blocks here. That's the main thing. That they're obstructing everything. Because if we manage to send that thwomp on the left all the way over, then we might be able to do some other kind of push. But we'll have to think about this. I feel like the idea here is, first of all, to... No, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to put this POW underneath this thwomp. That means it's going to make contact with ground, and then we hit it this way. That's the answer. Let's acknowledge the raid from SDGML, who we know from seeing some of the comment cards earlier was also playing levels from 5YMM. So welcome, SDGML. And I hope you've been enjoying the levels very much. I did see that your plan today, anyway, was to catch up on both Week 2 and Week 1, and I saw some of the comment cards on the Week 2 levels earlier as I was playing them, so we were just a little bit behind. And hope you've been having an absolute blast. So, supposing we put the POW on top of the thwomp, then I have a location that I can ride. Now that I have a location I can ride, we hit this guy, and I go through. Okay, that didn't take long at all, actually. Just understanding that slipping the POW under the thwomp, even if it doesn't visibly make contact, is enough to have that detected as ground for the POW interaction. Ah, okay, you put the levels in Warp World and you did them in a random order. That's a very interesting approach. Definitely a very different experience than how other people might be handling it. I've sometimes seen people go in order of difficulty or do something else, but we've over here just been following the prescribed order on the website. Looks like it's going to be multiple puzzles with an anti-key death up front. 4 different puzzle segments, each denoted by each of these icons. These item icons that are associated with each room. Let's do it. Beginning with the turn block room. You ended with the best level. You ended with Bonsai, Bonsai, Bonsai. Well, SDGML, I certainly hope you took the time to look for the cake festival that was associated with that. We would need a mushroom to bust through this location. We don't have one. Or thwomps to come down and hit the block at the same time as hitting an on-off block that would kill it. It seems like a down thwomp here is likely what is required. Currently we do have those put together as a stack. We also have those guys up top. Okay, moving the left thwomp, since the upper thwomp is wiggling on top of it, I believe that is a stack that is going to move the upper thwomp to the left. Everything is going to go down to this position and allow me to spin jump over to the left and grab the POW. Let's do that. Let's not do it that way. Let's slip underneath by going through the gap. SDGML, I highly, highly recommend the optional route in Bonsai, Bonsai, Bonsai. It is the best optional content that is currently in 5YMM from the levels that I've seen. I've got one more to go, and I haven't seen the cake in this one, but I can tell you that if there is one optional route that you do it in Bonsai, Bonsai, Bonsai. And yeah, Natcat, the POW thwomp interaction, I wonder if I have seen it, because I had played some interesting thwomp puzzles that mostly manipulated things like their spawning locations So I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Anyway, this gives you repeated access to the POW, which is very important. Because now that means I am able to stop the thwomps in a certain location and possibly even dislodge them. So for example, if I do this, the thwomp is going to hit and the lower thwomp is going to die. When the lower thwomp dies, it unstacks the top thwomp. Once it unstacks the top thwomp is able to come down here and hit this block. And that will also die. The problem is I don't know how that helps me here. In order to do that, I feel like we need maybe some kind of side thwomp to come here. Well, let's see. Let's activate and just see what happens. Thwomp drops, and it dies as expected, and then this cuts through. However, when it cuts through, does this get me anything useful? It does, because it allows me to reposition. Once I reposition, then, first of all, I can get up to the vine, and I can then blow up the lower thwomp once it hits ground. Once I blow up the lower thwomp, then the left thwomp is appropriately positioned to strike. So let's do this. Nuke it. And then now it's going to activate. And then now it's going to go all the way across and probably give me an exit pathway. And I need a POW block for that. That's okay, because we can grab the POW block from this location without any trouble. Okay, really great solution. I enjoyed that one a lot. 5YMM. And we have a couple of gates here, of course, going every which way. Let's do the 3 POW room. Looks like we might be in for some POW platforms. Or just 3 POWs, actually. Okay, let's think about our objective here. We haven't seen enough of this to know, but given that both of the side thwomps are currently stacked, they're not going to activate just yet. So at certain points in time, yeah, we need to go over to the right side eventually by having the right thwomp strike it. The right thwomp is currently aligned in such a way that it is 1 block above my current position. If it goes all the way across, it will strike. So the idea is that I need to take out the down thwomp here and detach this stack without lowering the position of the upper thwomp in that stack. I can activate this one here. That will send this thwomp, the left thwomp, over. Now, why do I want the left thwomp to go over when I don't myself have a way of going down? And SD, thank you so much for bringing everybody in here. If you do need to get going, glad you enjoyed the levels. And yes, you can have some tacos if you go back to do the secret in Pac-Man's taco level. They're not exactly in short supply. So if I drop this, the POW should unstack up top here. That's what I expected. And in fact, the POW would allow the thwomps to stop in a certain position. Now, do I want to do that? Or would I rather do something a little bit different? Because if I have this here, what can happen is that I think I see it. You drop this. You take out the lower thwomp. The bottom thwomp is going to be able to slide over here, and it's going to be 2 tiles high. You want it to be 3 tiles high by carrying a POW. A POW then ends up under the down thwomp on this stack, which allows you to hit it with the next POW. So, down we go. We then drag this guy over. And then drag this guy over. Done. Easy. Except I'm missing a POW. So we spoke too soon. Except if I drag this guy over once again, we should be able to pick up a POW as he's backing up. No? Really? Okay, we need to rethink this then. Because I hadn't thought about what to do when the on-off switch activates. And so we do need to make a small adjustment here. Either we have one more POW remaining, or... well, let's think about this. That's going to reset. That's fine. This is going to drop. That's also fine. I don't want to spend this POW for sure. But I need some way to get it back. And currently, I don't see how that's going to happen. Everything else up to that point is fine, though, so this is curious. And the fact that the POW kind of comes up towards me like a little bit of a lip there, that is also kind of fascinating. Well, let's try this interaction just one more time again, see how it works. So the issue we're running into right now is I don't know how to recover this POW once it has been dropped. Because we know the POW stacking is going to work just fine for this guy over here in terms of blowing that up. Maybe we don't want to send this swamp over just yet until we understand something else about it. Yeah, the swamp is going to come in and hit the on-off switch. Do I have some way around that? That's uncertainty right now. Because, okay, what are our options here? One, we can have the swamp come over and stop somehow so I can dislodge it up by an additional tile. And so it can hit the top on-off switch and give me a little slot here to walk in. Option number two, swamp hits in this location and we still have one POW available to cut through it to go down to the pipe. But the only POW that would be available at that point is this one here that I'm about to drop. We're going to hit timeout. Let's think about it. So we're getting close. We understand at least part of what we need to know here. I wonder if we need to constrain that position some other way by... Well, let's say here, can we actually unstack the top swamp when it is one tile higher, such that... Yeah, right now it's all the way at the bottom. We actually want that swamp to be one tile taller, I think. So instead of carting the swamp, carting the POW all the way over, what it's going to do is just be one tile higher somehow. And maybe the way we do that is by blocking... No, that's just going to rise. That's what I expected. Yeah, it's going to rise every time. So is there a way I can raise that swamp by a block? Because otherwise I don't see how this POW can actually be retrieved. But yeah, this we understand. This as part of the activation zone we also understand. Oh, you can pick it up. I don't know why I had trouble with that earlier. Okay, no, that's fine then. No, except you need the you need to complete the interaction first, of course. I was wondering why I couldn't pick it up earlier when it was just a tile up, but if you stand right at the edge here and just press against it on the side, then as the POW is coming towards you, you get the pickup. The issue was that it was attempting to pick up the POW when it was already in the middle here and sliding against me, and so the POW was pushing me up instead. Okay, no, we understand this, and I, in fact, got it much, much earlier. But it is a bad habit of mine sometimes that if I fail the execution of a certain puzzle task, that I give up on it too quickly instead of wondering how we could adjust. Because now that's easily solved. And yeah, so we didn't have a problem with that earlier either. I just didn't see that the final step was doable in a way I hoped it would be. Okay, P-switch next. P-switch. Side Thwomp is going to have quite a long activation range, I think, but we need to get past the Pokey, and we can have a Thwomp hit that, and maybe that's the way to do it. I'm also thinking about the on-off switch here as well. We'll think about what the P can actually do for me. Possibly the P also releases something from the pipe that kills the Pokey, but I doubt that's the case. I think we likely need the Thwomp to hit. And then back up and get trapped on the other side of the one-way panel. Let's not do it that way. Let's play this a little bit cleaner. You can see lots of depth in this room. Supposing the Thwomp activates all the way over here, the P separates it. Okay. That's important to note because it means that we can drop one Thwomp here. This Thwomp can then probably push the other one up, in fact. It will push the other one up because that's its height that it's going to return to. Okay, no, I know this. Yeah, this is relatively straightforward. What we do is we stop the P here. Stops the top Thwomp, that is the down Thwomp. And yeah, we need to just line it up like that. And we drop this guy. And that's going to rise, but then we need to rise a little bit better. Probably I want to trap this Thwomp. Okay, no, I do need to activate it such that it's going to go all the way up. Let's go down again. Yeah, I think I can't do this as a timing thing. I do need to, in fact, stop this Thwomp on the way over. But I think we may have lost our chance to do that. I needed that Thwomp to be on the lower level, because then I could drop the P on this side, and then it stops gently, and then it goes up. So let's redo this to clean this up a little bit, just to not fuss around with that extra tile of space or try to do it as a timing check. We're going to begin by placing a P over here. Then we drop this guy. Stop. Then we place the P to the right of this Thwomp. Right over here. Drop this guy. Everything's going to go up to that location, which is great. And then we trap. Don't really need to trap, I don't think, but we'll do it anyway. And then the P-switch needs to be available at the very end once the Thwomp is safely out of the way. Okay. That went nicely. And yeah, some of the Thwomp stacking logic I'd seen before, but as Natcat was saying earlier, I think the idea of creating ground underneath Thwomps so they could be within the activation range of the POW is something that is relatively unexplored, and which I hadn't seen much of even in other puzzle levels before this one. So the last one remaining is going to be the on switch over here. And yeah, I mean, I can raise the POW, so I can go up and retrieve that. And then, having raised a POW, I think I should be able to come up here. The door looks like the exit, and the thwomp is going to be a left thwomp. Given that it is a left thwomp, I actually think... Oh, wait, we have some thwomps on this side as well. Down thwomp and a right thwomp. Or, sorry, a left thwomp. If this is set, then you can use the grounded tile here to detach the top thwomp and move the left thwomp over. That doesn't really get you anything, though, because this one-way panel isn't going to do that much for you. No, the idea is, if we go back down to look at how we can interact with any of that stuff, let's see where the thwomp column actually goes. Thwomp column goes all the way down here, okay. And we'll see if we need to manipulate this thwomp's position to eventually move it either. Yeah, because here, everything's going to go down. And at some point, you would be able to move up. The fact that we have recovered access to the POW by having hit the on-off switch is also kind of important here. Okay. I was actually sort of thinking about the sort of throw up and then catch in midair idea, but no, the POW would be claustrophobic enough here that it would hit. So we don't want that to happen just yet. What we do want to do is if we access POW, I want something that's going to give me this POW up to the top level, I think. We will eventually need that in order to hit this guy. So the objective is going to be to raise the POW up. The way we can do that is by... Well, let's think. We tap this, and we detach that thwomp. The left thwomp is going to go all the way over. If the left thwomp goes all the way over, it just goes back and forth and nothing interesting happens. However, what is this one-way panel for then? If the thwomp drops all the way, then we can stack a POW on top that would partly obstruct the top thwomp, I think. No, it doesn't, because there is one clear tile above it. Yeah, no, I know how to do it. The left thwomp slides over. If the left thwomp slides over, then it drops a stacked POW from the top corner. So what happens is we drop, we raise everything, we hit the on-off switch, we hit the other POW. We move this guy over, and that gives me the POW. Done. Okay, that's the key. Now, given that this is an anti-key setup, it's possible that we have a final room remaining that is going to be a proper puzzle in its own right. And indeed, yeah, this is going to be a great totem pole. It's not going to be this kind of precision check, although I actually learned this precision check from a different level the other day. So it is that precision check, okay. That's fine. I actually just learned that this weekend, that you can do it. Left thwomp, huh. I mean, something's going on here that we can continue to activate. Right, so... what can I do to go around that gate? It's funny because I'm a player with like 0 precision ability. We need to think about that. We didn't find cake. I need to go back in here and find a cake. And I think you clearly need to move that thwomp to the left so you can jump on top of it and get up on top of the mushroom platform that is on the left side. I think Cake is going to be located there. Let's just start over. The puzzle interactions are really easy to recreate. So, execution-wise, as long as we don't mess up the Thwomp activations too much by unthinkingly getting within Thwomp range, I should be okay. Okay, that gets me over. Not exactly going to beat Major's speed record on this one, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, drop this over here. Punch. Drop this guy. Yeah, I like how simple everything is, in fact, once you understand the core concept. And the space of elements that you're working with is restricted enough that you don't really have to do that much. That is far out of the box. Like, the level does give you all of the tools that you need just by illustrating the grounded Thwomp interaction at the very start. Okay, this thing over here, we drop... no, we needed to restrict over here. No, we do need to move all that so we can get on the left side. So yeah, bit of actual platforming here that we need to do. And we stop. Okay. That's going to go well. We go back, grab a POW. Come back down. Yeah, definitely didn't understand something about how to get Cake in this level. Because there was definitely a left Thwomp that I just wasn't within the activation range for, and I don't know how to get within the activation range for that without triggering the gate. Maybe I do need to smuggle a POW through or something. But I feel like we need to go back to that and give it a proper look. No, we did this one. Let's go back. No, we can't, actually. We do need to redo it. My mistake. Okay, that was unfortunate. I was just a little bit inattentive there. Just a little bit. Let's do this. Drop back in. Drop this guy. Well, that's okay. Taking a death is fine too. We could have just touched the Thwomp and taken a death, in fact, if we wanted to reset gracefully. Going into the next segment here. Drop this. Oh, let's drop these guys again. And then down here. Okay, that's fine. Whoops, missed. Silly way to go. So yeah, like I said, nowhere near any kind of speed record. Yeah, but I don't mind replaying this. It's actually really satisfying to do each of these and find the execution to be fairly simple and not too fussy, as long as you're paying attention and not doing things like that. Yeah, this is a neat little sub-pixel edge case that is pretty specific. Cat, you died the same way. Okay, join the club then. Or I guess I'm joining a club since you're already in the club of being clubbed by the Thwomp. Yeah, both of these one-way panels are facing in. Neither of those are going to give you any room to work with, so. Just looking at this very carefully, seeing what we could possibly take with us. Here's an interesting idea. If you expend a P-switch, and then you go through this door, and you reset in this room, you can grab another P-switch and exit while the P is still active. Like, I think it's actually possible to smuggle a P-switch out of this room. Anyway, we need to reset. I don't know if you can catch what I'm talking about here, but I think it is possible to leave this room with a P-switch, and that will probably not get me much, but given that we would still have the issue later on with getting over the Thwotum pole at the end. I don't think it breaks anything, given that there is no other P-related interaction anywhere. I mean, it might give you a P jump somewhere to relocate things, but I want to try that just to see if we can make anything interesting happen. Okay, that's going to go up. Sure, let's lock that up, just in case. So this is what I'm talking about. No, because if you reset the room, you actually need the Thwomp to go back and hit the Pokey. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, no, you can't smuggle the P-switch because you would need to redo the whole interaction, and you don't have time to do it. Although, interestingly enough, if you spawn into this room with the P-switch active, this guy would be able to maybe walk and wiggle. No, it's locked into this location here, so can't actually do anything with it. Like, you can't kill it any other way, I don't think. So, okay, never mind, we're wrong. No smuggling allowed. Zerfink is good at checking and catching this kind of thing, so I would assume, especially after a re-upload already, that this is a fairly well-defended level as far as any kind of odd or unintended behavior goes. I think... well, let's go through here first. And this one is fairly simple. We go up, we go... no, sorry. My mistake. Reset. Didn't intend to hit that. Okay. Drop these guys down here. Drop the POW down. Whoops, no, let's go back down. Drop these guys. Drop the POW. Go up. Ground the Thwomp. Move this. Grab the POW. Strike. And that's fine. So, we haven't done anything differently yet. We have hit the checkpoint with anti-key death, so I should take a death if I'm unable to get the key, if I'm able to, somehow. I don't think there's any other place that's relevant in terms of the key door, so... Take a look at this. What is this? Okay. I guess maybe the idea, like, you do have to go... Oh, you know what? You can just go under. Why didn't we do that in the first place? Yeah, no, I was showing off this fancy thing earlier, and I didn't realize that you could just go under the whole stack. But then, is this something one way? Yes, it is something one way, which is a problem, because I don't know how to get over there unless we are really close to the goal pole. Okay, no, there we go. That's all there is to it. We could have done that earlier if I just bothered to try. You actually key death after the first checkpoint. Oh, I see. Yeah, that seems to be a pretty specific timing. Anyway, here's the thwomp cake. The thwomps, of course, were making a practice cake already in last week's set for the festival, and after hearing some feedback, they decided to put together their cake for real this time. Yeah, it seems like this thing would just break your teeth, but that's okay. That's why we're not on a thwomp-eating diet. Anyway, got this for real after redoing the puzzle all the way through. I mean, looking at the setup there, I don't know why I imagined it would be anything else. I don't know why I tried to go over the goal, but I feel like this record is actually easily beatable if you're paying attention. But I don't know. Maybe Major has optimized it quite tightly, and I'm underestimating that. But there are very few plays on this right now, so... Let's take a look at the comments. Very few so far. I don't know if there's any Mang art yet. Yes, there is. I am kind of looking sideways at this. On the Mang floating pole, which seems to be composed of the minions from Despicable Me and the Minion sub-series, I guess. Mang has just taken them apart and stacked them. Anyway, this was a really fun one. I don't know how other people are doing with it. I mean, obviously, we're more of a puzzle stream than the average. But it would be interesting with this, as well as with the puzzle level last week, to see how other people are doing and take the backseat perspective, which is the nice thing about playing these levels early in the week. We have one more to go. And it's going to be New Donk Nightmare again, which is going to be by Megatoro. Megatoro is a maker we show off here quite often, but I don't know if I've played a music level by Megatoro before, actually. Definitely one of the really accomplished technical makers out of Japan that just shows off very fun contraptions and gimmicks all the time, but the music level from Megatoro is going to be a different kind of experience, I think, and so we'll see what happens as the nightmare that once hit the metropolis is about to strike back. Okay. Okay, it's going to introduce the new Donk City music, which is about what we could have expected. Just the opening fanfare. And here's the skyscraper loading in everything in this track. Okay, so basically it is going to be like Super Mario Odyssey, where we just climb up the city hall. Let's grab the flower. So yeah, nice open looping music level. Yeah, vertical, globally looped music is tons of fun to play around in. We should look at locations like that. I wonder if I can go down to Seesaw and drop back down. No, I can't, actually. Unless I slip down here. That's a very Odyssey-like thing to do, in fact, just dropping down in certain locations to make that work. Yeah, it's actually very difficult to capture a piece like this rhythmically because, of course, it was something that's built for a swing band. And with these patterns of syncopations and with swing accentuation in general, it's actually very difficult to do in any kind of strictly timed sequencing. We need to figure out how to get up there. Possibly it's SMB2 mushroom. I think it might be, in fact, unless we have some way to spawn something else that we can land on. I think we just don't have the right power up for it, and that we will eventually have to make do somehow. So let's keep that in mind and explore a little bit more of the course. Oh, okay, one coin down here as well. Yeah, kind of interesting to see some of this open exploration, Odyssey style, imported into this format. You see a lot of stuff inspired by the Mario 64 format in this game that is about pink coin hunting, but not so often with this kind of skyscraper verticality. So that's always satisfying to just get that bounce. Yeah, so we still have that one coin on the other side that's unaccounted for. Okay, so let's get up here. Still on Fire Flower, okay. I don't know if that's going to change at all. Maybe we do need to drop some kind of object over there, or does the Bullet Blaster give me anything? No, it is blocked. This just opens the gate. And yeah, as far as 3D Mario translations go, this is quite a treat. And one coin over there, and we know where the last coin is placed after that. Oh, this is like the boss that you shoot with the tank. The name escapes me at the moment. But you know, the creature that's the New Donk nighttime boss when you unlock the city from the thunderstorm that's covering it. We need to hit on-off switches in order to move this guy, though, right? I mean, it does look very much like he's just crawling over the side of the building. That's nice, but I do need some way to go up in order to unlock this. And we don't have that yet, unless there's a vine spawn, perhaps. That is going to go all the way up and not hit anything along the way. Curious. Let's go up here. Nothing under the pipe. What have we not done yet? We've opened this gate. We've hit the on-off switches. We have a good eye on how those remaining coin locations are accounted for. Don't know how to get this. I mean, maybe it is something with like a Super Ball deflection or something similar, but SMP1 you never really know, since there is a fair bit of item diversity to work with. Now, what can I do with the Fire Flower that we haven't thought about? Let's try to go up the left side of the building. Maybe there's something here I haven't considered from our earlier passage up this tree. No, perhaps not. Okay. I have to rethink this. That raises you. Oh, it does give you a Super Ball. Okay, no, I didn't understand that about the on-off progression because I wasn't paying attention to this switch here. Super Ball solves the other two just fine. Interestingly enough, you can go back down to switch to Fire Flower if you want. Assuming that we still have access to hitting that on-off switch, which hopefully we should. Yeah, it doesn't quite get you to corner here. Whoops. There we go. And back up we go to close that out. It's really nice to see the Super Ball deflection used in a wide open space rather than just very specifically marked out diagonals and tight corridors and all that. This is one of the few uses of the Super Ball I've seen that I can really kind of get behind. Yeah, because it's not hard to understand what to try. And once you try it, everything just comes together, so. Love the background in that room, too. Just an amazing background. Okay, and so this is basically like the New Donk City fight then, because it's like you're shooting everything with the tank, except... Yeah, because it's like it's crawling all over the skyscraper. But instead of a tank, now you have a clown car to emulate that behavior. Now, we need to figure out... Okay, so there is a shooting phase, and luckily having the fire flower allows me to do the triple shot. But it also means that this phase, whoops, has the piranha plants unlocked, and they're going to be a projectile. Also, shooting the Wiggler will do nothing. We do need to shoot the P-switch. In order to do that, we need to figure out, well, yeah, okay, so that's sort of interesting that if you shoot just a little above the muncher stack, then you can unstack by hitting the piranhas, which also have the demolition animation or sound effect attached to them. And yeah, it's the dodge phase, just like it is with the original fight. You dodge this giant creature whose name I do not recall. And then you gradually unstack by firing just a little bit above the center line because of the way that muncher stacking works, with that subpixel compression that's happening with anything that's stacked on top and just sinking on top of the muncher slightly. So we'll need to redo this, and that's okay, because that was partly a bit of a learning run to see what this level was capable of doing. Also notice we have not found cake, to my knowledge. And I don't know if we have missed something already, or in which case we just have to redo this. But we'll find out after we hit the boss and see what else we can do. So if we go right up here with a triple shot, that's not going to do much for me, actually, because the one-way panels are going to block the triple shot and make the fire flower ineffective at doing anything but giving me an extra hit that I can take. And yeah, eventually when you unstack the small piranhas, the big piranha is going to land on top of the P-switch. That's going to close up the P column on the right side, kill everything there, and then maybe the entity blockage is going to affect something with the blaster. No, the blaster is actually going to fall down to the P-switch's P blocks that it's sitting on in the bottom right side. It's eventually going to unblock a blue pipe over there once everything dies. But I wonder what's going to be fired then towards us from that POW block. I think it's one of those things where as you kill piranha plants, maybe the fight becomes harder because of something that gets launched from the bullet blaster. But I haven't, of course, really been able to look at that properly, just because of everything else going on screen. Yeah, P-switch activates, everything's fine. And then that gives you the ability to leave, which is fine, except we didn't have the cake. And I feel like that blue pipe in the other room might have been a location with some potential. So if we don't find where to go for cake, we'll go back and we'll try to look at that boss fight one more time. Oh, that's interesting. So you would need to have the SMB2 mushroom to go through this. It looks like exit only, though. And no, there's a blue pipe that dumps you on top of the flagpole, so I think this might be a power-up check, in fact. Maybe if we tried to come over here and... Oh, notice there's also the Odyssey on the right side. That's the exit. Like the exit is shaped like Mario's hat ship. I think this may be a power-up check. And that if we come over here with a fire flower, then potentially this doesn't come down. And then that would open up the secret. I think that's the first thing that we'll try. Just trying to do the fight cleanly. Because, of course, having the spike there allow you to respawn from checkpoints indicates to me that this is something that should be voluntarily doable from checkpoint if you are doing some cake hunting. So, okay. Let's do this. Nope. Okay, we took damage. Yeah, let's just try to do it perfectly. No reason to wait around here. If we think that taking no damage is the way to do it. Depending on the power-up check, maybe it's something that can be doable with a mushroom, because the way that progressive power-ups work, you would have the same progressive power-up whether you have a mushroom or the fire flower. And so maybe, yeah, maybe that was a mistake, and we should have tried to go through by keeping mushroom, but certainly taking 2 hits will be too much. Yeah, because if it is something like a progressive power-up trigger that's based on, you know, whether a mushroom is moving or if a flower is staying statically in place, being big should actually be okay. But let's just try to play this through first and not make too many assumptions. Yeah, just gonna camp this location until we have a good reason not to. And yeah, that's going to get trapped, and it's going to go through the whole track. I see. Now, the blue pipe in the bottom right is the infinite P switch, and that's what is... Oh, no. SMP2 mushroom is right here. We didn't even look at this. SMP2 mushroom picks up the spring. The spring gets you through. I didn't even look at this when we came through here the first time, when it's really quite obvious. And it's kind of like grabbing the moon in Odyssey terms. Okay, let's go through here. And PC the Wolf, welcome. Hope you're doing well. And anyway, here's the new Donk Cake. We might as well see if dining on the cake does anything. I'm glad there's a little bit of a bonus here. We could have expected that, of course, from a designer like Megatoro who really knows the craft. Yeah, we're just going to pluck all of the clouds here. PC the Wolf, we're doing great. I'm just finishing up, actually, given that this was the last of this week's set of 5 YMM levels. We found every secret. I forgot to... Oh, no. I did look at the comment art for Thwotum Polls because I saw the Mang Thwotum Poll. We just saw very few comments because it was the re-upload. But we'll look at the comment art for this one for sure. Thank you for the GGs. And so, yeah, 100% again on week 2. And in pretty good time, too, actually. I feel like the sets so far have been very well paced this year. It depends, of course, on people's ability. And yeah, so here's the towering fight that had been recreated from Super Mario Odyssey. Just a very thorough remake in terms of how much of that area in Odyssey it managed to bundle into the space of one level. And still have room left over for global looping music. And this guy stopping to make comments to try to give everybody tips. Oh, probably trying to answer questions that others were asking. The boss fight can SD lock? Can it really? Teramis usually comes by this stream from time to time. We'll actually have to ask him about that to see what he saw. And we have a lot of comments from other Japanese makers. Now, Zenmai is a really, really good music maker. I'm actually kind of curious about what Zenmai said here, if machine translation is going to do anything for me. We're not going to read every Japanese comment, but Zenmai caught my attention because, like I said, spectacular music, boss player. The translation says, great for playing boss battle gimmicks. It was a great course. Oh yes, that certainly was. And no car? No, unfortunately no car. You had a clown car, though. Let's see what you're complaining about. And yeah, it's just a really good recreation. hidden 1-up and everything, yeah. And, oh yeah, there are more comments on the next page. We haven't checked multiple pages yet. There was, I think, another level earlier where we didn't check for multiple pages of comments. Let's take a look at the comment count for anything else that was over 100. Because I don't remember... Oh, whoops, that's not a 5YMM level. That's a puzzle. Yeah, we didn't see page 2 of Mega Tepid, I think. Let's go back. It'll be Deja Vu, of course, because we have seen this level already. No, we did see that. We saw Sadie's comment at the bottom, and we didn't see the rest of this stuff, but there was no real meaningful artwork over here. And 5YM. Okay. Yeah, so pretty interesting artwork in general. I think the artwork that really stuck out at me today, though, apart from the usual that we get from Meng, and this is the one that I think is the big standout. This incredible piece here with Daisy riding the Wiggler like, you know, dropping the bomb in Dr. Strangelove or something. But that concludes this week's Week 2 set of 5YMM. I hope you enjoyed that, whether you have played the levels already or not. If you want to play some of the stuff that has come up today, of course, yourself. And if you haven't done that already, do take a look at the website or subscribe to the YouTube channel if you follow the trailers on the website. And then soon enough, you'll see the release of the Week 3 levels next Sunday. Currently, on my end, I said before that I don't know if we will be running the regular schedule this week because I might have a couple of conflicts and we might actually be off stream for a few days. But we will definitely, at the very least, be back for Week 3 next week. And if we need to reschedule some viewer levels and some other maker features, like the Week 3 5YMM maker feature around that, we'll do that accordingly and we'll schedule everything on the Discord, as usual. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to some of the level creators who had come by, like Green Star was here, Lecter was briefly here, but couldn't stay for the whole thing. And, of course, all of the makers returning from last week as well. Great to have you here as we all go through this community project together, week to week. Fantastic creations today. Let's wind down the stream and send you on to somebody else in just a moment, but for now, thank you so much. Glad you've been here watching and joining me all this time. Have a good rest of your day and Week 2 of 5YMM. And enjoy watching all of the other streams that have been covering this event as well. Because I'm sure a lot of different playstyles will reveal themselves. And of course, fare thee well.